Operation Brother Sam by Gustavo Freitas. On a black screen, super. In 1958, after 6 years of guerrilla warfare, Fidel Castro launched an offensive to take Havana and establish a communist government. Super. The Cuban president, Fulgencio Batista, fled from the island before the rebel forces reached the capital. Muffled sound of protesters yelling and shouting in Spanish. Exterior Havana, Cuba, night. Super. Havana, Cuba, 1958, New Year's Eve. The U.S. Embassy in Havana is surrounded by a horde of agitators. Protesters in red shirts carrying red flags and communist symbols gather outside the gates. A woman carries a poster of a young Fidel wearing a black beret. The sign says, Libertad. Turmoil on the streets as a revolution rages. Exterior Havana, outside Mark's house, night. Mark Chambers, 24, is a bold and cool-headed intelligence officer working at the U.S. Embassy. Mark shouts, trying to find his wife in the middle of the crowd.
Laura? Laura? Laura?
Laura Chambers, 21, Latina, is Mark's wife. She sees Mark and runs towards him, coming from an opposite direction. They hug, surrounded by a sea of people. It's complete chaos.
What's happening?
We've got to get out of here. They're taking Havana.
Colton Bennett, 40, is a badass Black Ops agent. It's not his first rodeo. He's the driver waiting in the Jeep, ready to run. He taps on the wheel, anxious. Mark and Laura jump into Colton's Jeep.
Go, 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 go!
Colton hits the pedal really hard. The Jeep jumps into exterior Havana streets, moving Jeep continuous. The Jeep evades through Havana's streets. As Colton drives, the tires squeal. He snakes onto the road to avoid some flaming trash cans. Agent Colton hits the brakes after almost running over a drunk guy. Protester number 1 slaps the hood.
Hijo de puta!
The Jeep gets to a dead end. Colton backs off the car and drives it over a small fence, taking a shortcut through the grass field and over some stairs. The vehicle shakes through the irregular path. Back on the track, some guy throws a rock at them. The windshield cracks. The Jeep does a rough turn into an alley and Colton is forced to stop. The road ahead is crowded with people. Colton tries to drive into the mob. He pushes the horn, making an attempt to move people away. No success. Mark sees the U.S. Embassy's gates. The road before them is full of protesters. Protester number 2, a youthful woman, screams at Mark.
Viva Castro! Long live the revolution!
Shots are heard at a distance. People run. Colton jumps out of the vehicle and runs towards exterior U.S. Embassy gates, continuous. The group is close to the American Embassy's entrance. Colton breaks into the mass of protesters, barking to Laura and Mark.
Come on!
Mark and Laura hop out and follow him, striving to find a passage through the crowd. The embassy's gates are just a few steps away. Marines struggle to control the embassy's entrance and contain the protesters, while people push through the fences. Protester signs state, "Death to the Yankees, Yankees go home." An American flag burns. Mark waves and signals to the Marines at the gates.
We're Americans! We're Americans!
The embassy's Marines notice Mark and Laura. They push the mob, doing their best to reach the American citizens. Protester number 3, a young adult male in a red t-shirt, draws a revolver and aims at Mark.
Muerta a todos los perros imperialistas.
One of the Marines jumps over protester number 3, but the soldier is a second too late. Pow! A shot. Mark blinks as blood spills all over him. Mark thinks he was shot. He wasn't. Laura's hand loses the grip. He stares at Laura and sees her covered in blood. The red stain blossoms, getting bigger and bigger. Mark holds Laura in his arms and carries her, while Colton fights his way through the mass of protesters, opening the path for the group. Interior Mark's bedroom, day. Mark wakes up from the nightmare with a start. He is sweating and breathes hard. He looks 5 years older and has a new hairstyle. Mark looks at the side of a double bed and only sees a blank space. He stares at a picture of him and Laura. Time to get up. Interior Russian bar, night. It's an urban bar, the kind you would find in Moscow, USSR. Super. March 1964, 5 years later. Mark emerges from the kitchen dressed as a waiter. He gets some drinks from the counter and puts them on a tray. Some Soviet officers in uniform and around a dozen other people are talking and drinking. Mark lays his eyes on 3 people sitting together at the same table. 2 Americans, 1 Russian. One of them is Officer Wyatt, 21, a true redneck from Texas, a fish out of the water. Sitting with him is Officer Tuts, 25, African-American female, total nerd bookworm. She has the looks of a librarian and wears a ridiculous Russian winter cap. Valeria, a dazzling Russian blonde, 30-ish, is the third person at the table. She speaks in fluent Russian.
We can collaborate, but we need visa papers. My husband is in great danger.
Wyatt tries to speak in Russian. What he manages to articulate is a laughable mix of Texan accent with some Russian words.
I need to see the documents first. The KGB is documenting.
Mark approaches the group. He serves some draft beers to the party, chatting in perfect Russian.
Hello, gentlemen. This is a courtesy on the house.
Officer Douglas, mid-40s, almost bald, comes in wearing a tourist outfit. He sits at another table. Douglas makes eye contact to Wyatt and Tuts and nods. He's covering them. Tuts sweats. She observes Officer Douglas, the Soviet officers, a suspicious woman in a trench coat. Wyatt doesn't want the booze, seeming jumpy.
We didn't order that. Hey, we didn't order that.
Mark puts the spirits on the table anyway. He answers in English with a Russian accent.
It's a gift, free for American friends.
No. We aren't Americans. We're from Poland. From Poland.
A Russian Spetsnaz officer overhears the conversation. He comes closer and yells at Valeria in Russian. Fast speech, impossible to understand. The word Amerikansky stands out. Valeria tries to respond to that, screaming in Russian as well. The Russian officer spits in her direction. Wyatt and Tuts don't understand a word of what they say. Valeria gets her things and makes a move, meaning to leave. This meeting is over. She reaches for her purse too suddenly. Officer Wyatt jumps. He grasps his gun inside his suit and draws a 9mm pistol.
Everybody, hands where I can.
Mark is already standing behind Wyatt's back, aiming his semi-automatic Glock at him. Bam, bam, bam. 3 shots, almost point blank. No chance of defense for Wyatt.
You're dead, Officer Wyatt.
Wyatt is still standing, gun in his hand. It was only blank cartridges.
Oh, dang. How was I supposed to?
Am I hearing you speak, Officer Wyatt? That's odd, since dead men don't talk. What do dead men do, Mr. Wyatt?
And they lie on the floor.
They lie on the floor.
The lights turn on. There is an audience of students in their suits watching the lesson. Wyatt lies on the floor, frustrated and disappointed. Mark speaks to the students.
All right, folks. So, what went wrong? I could say Officer Wyatt has the worst Russian accent in all the West.
Students laugh.
I could also point out that their fake passport stated it was issued in Holland, not Poland. Right, Officer Tuts?
I knew that. I think I just got a bit.
I should clarify how stupid it is to draw a gun in a bar in, for God's sake, damn Russia, with your back turned to half of the
A
clients.
few more laughs in the classroom.
But I'll tell you what the real mistake was. You're still thinking like you're the good guys. Wyatt here acted like a cowboy in a movie, trying to save our exotic Valeria from the communist villains. So he tried to be the hero. And that's what will kill you in the field.
Valeria takes off the wig, revealing a not-so-sexy brunette haircut. She is a DSS agent, Diplomatic Security Service.
It's Special Agent Ileana, by the way.
Mark strolls and lectures, getting close to the audience.
So, forget about good guys. Forget about bad guys. There's no saving the world. We're State Department. You're going to an embassy to provide intelligence. That's it. That's what we do. This is not as messed up as the CIA.
Students laugh.
But shit will happen. They'll want a visa. They'll want to get to America. And guess what? You're their golden ticket. Learn to use them where they'll use you. 3 weeks from now, it'll be for real.
The mention of the end of the training makes the students get serious.
Get up, Wyatt. Thanks for your participation.
Officer White stands up, embarrassed. Officer Douglas steps in and addresses the class. He's in charge now.
Listen to this guy. He's been there. Okay, fun time is over. See you in class tomorrow at 10, sharp.
The officers in training leave the simulation room. One of the students mocks Wyatt.
What do dead men do, Officer White? They lie on the floor? Oh, shut up!
Douglas and Mark walk into interior locker room, Bureau of Intelligence, continuous. Mark and Douglas take off their outfits and start to dress back in their suits.
Hope they put Wyatt in breed card background checks. God.
Douglas chuckles.
The kid is all right. He'll get there.
Douglas reflects about it while changing his clothes.
I kind of envy them. Is it odd?
Envy them? Envy what? Being clueless, unprepared, and naive?
You know, the excitement.
You're just in a midlife crisis. Go buy a sports car like a normal guy.
Seriously? Don't you miss it? Being in the field, exotic country, fighting the commies?
Mark ejects the ammunition clip from his gun and stores the blank cartridges back in the case. Yes, Mark misses it.
I'm an analyst, Doug. I get to hear the stories about other people's adventures, and I do a report about it. I'm happy the way it is.
Douglas pulls a condescending smirk and nods. Exterior, Bureau of Intelligence Day, establishing Washington, D.C.'s skyline. Focus on a small governmental building belonging to the U.S. State Department. Exterior, Interior, Bureau of Intelligence Entrance Day. Mark walks into the building, same way he has done 1,000 times before. Busy people in suits walking in and out. A sign shows U.S. State Department, Bureau of Intelligence and Research. Mark passes the security checkpoint and nods to the security guy on duty. Interior Office of Analysis, continuous. Sign at the door. U.S. State Department, Office of Analysis for East Asia and the Pacific, EAP. Mark storms through a room filled with a dozen junior analysts and secretaries.
Foley, walk with me.
Officer Foley, 22, is an Irish, inexperienced, and introverted analyst. He immediately jumps up from his table and follows Mark one step behind.
Sir?
They stride through the room.
I've read your report on Resolution 9 from North Vietnam. You said General Zop supported it?
Yes, he signed it.
No, he didn't. He was almost expelled from the Communist Party for talking against it.
But Pravda stated that.
Pravda stated that because the Soviets don't want us to know there's a division. They're lying. Read Ambassador Lodge's report. He explains it.
Foley's disconcerted.
I will.
They get to Interior Situation Room, continuous. The sit room is a vault full of maps and television sets. Broadcast news from all over Asia. Digital clocks show the time in Beijing, Hanoi, Tokyo, and other major cities from the east. Mark and Foley pass through.
Plan 34 Alpha is in full effect now. We need to get the facts right. Vietnam is our top priority, get it?
Understood, sir.
Foley nods and returns to his desk. Mark glances to a broadcast of some ARVN, Army of the Republic of Vietnam, operations in Long Dinh. He gets to Interior Mark's office door, continuous. The sign at the door says Mark Chambers, EAP Deputy Coordinator. Mark sees Colton sitting on a sofa outside his office, waiting. Colton has a backpack, unkempt hair, and didn't shave.
Colton? Who let this douchebag in?
CIA, man. We're everywhere.
Come in! I didn't know you were in town. That's 3 years now?
Interior Mark's office, inside, continuous. Mark opens the doors and Colton enters the office. They sit.
4, but who's counting?
Are you still seeing that Puerto Rican girl? She was something.
She went to Vegas. Stripper star now. Only way to do her these days is paying by the hour.
They chuckle.
You've got to see this.
Mark stands up and opens the curtains, showing a great view from Washington, D.C.
Wow. That's...
Colton stands by the window, stern. After a moment, Mark realizes what is happening.
Oh shit, you're gonna ask me a favor.
busted.
Who you spooks trying to screw this time?
Colton sighs.
That's not so simple.
Never is. Who's the target?
We believe that the U.S. ambassador to Brazil may be distorting some facts to the president to push for a military operation.
Mark is distressed. He argues in a low voice.
A U.S. ambassador? Are you out of your mind? This is the State Department. We're specifically forbidden to spy on our own diplomats.
I need someone I can trust, man.
Colton, I'm not CIA. We actually have rules here.
Colton grabs a dossier that was inside his backpack.
Okay. I wasn't supposed to show you this, but...
So don't take it. I don't want to see it. I don't want to touch it.
Colton taps his finger on the dossier.
Man, we were together in Cuba.
You don't understand what no actually means, do you?
When things went south, I stood up for you. The whole year after that.
Mark is offended. He stands up and moves towards the door as Colton remains seated. Sorry.
Do you want me to say thank you? All right, pal. Thank you. Thanks for covering up how I secured Laura's grave.
What? I never blamed you for Cuba.
Mark stops halfway through and turns back.
You're an asshole. You know it, right?
Mark sits back, rubbing his face.
I'll take a look at this and tell you what I think.
Mark, come on. I need you down in Brazil so we can...
That's it, Colton. I'm not a field agent anymore. One look, one opinion.
Colton rolls his eyes, leaving the dossier on the table.
Thanks. Meet me at Langley tomorrow, will you? There's something else I need to show you.
Mark nods. Colton leaves the room. Mark is still red-faced as he glances at the dossier cover. It says, Operation Brother Sam. Interior Mark's apartment, living room, night. Mark lives in an urban apartment in the city. It's nice, but scarce on furniture. The living room is basically a chair and a TV. TV is on. Mark comes back from the shower, holding Operation Brother Sam dossier in his hands. The female news anchor reads the news on TV.
3 months after the assassination of President Kennedy, the Warren Commission wasn't able to produce any further evidence that could lead to Lee Oswald's associates.
Mark studies the documents, photographs of ships and Brazilian authorities. A photo of the aircraft carrier USS Forrestal stands out. Mark highlights some words, President Goulart and working with Soviet authorities.
People still have a hard time believing this was carried by a single shooter.
Sentences stand out in the text, a new Cuba, covert actions, and risk of a communist dictatorship. A regular Joe was interviewed on the TV screen in an emotional state.
This was a communist plot. Everybody knows that. These bastards killed our president. They killed our president and no one is doing anything about it.
Jack Ruby's trial is expected to happen in the next days. Prosecution states that they'll ask for the death penalty.
Mark flips the pages, reaching a telegram. At the end of the message, one phrase stands out. We recommend full support to a military coup to preserve democracy and remove President Goulart. Signature, Ambassador Thomas L. Green.
Damn it.
Exterior, counter-guerrilla military camp, Brasilia, day. A Brazilian soldier, Sergeant Ramirez, 30, is in a special operations outfit wearing a black beret. Ramirez kneels, back against the wall, tactical position. He's slender, Latino, fierce eyes with a scar on his cheek. Ramirez peeks at the door as gunshots are heard. Next to Ramirez is Corporal DeLuca, 25, talking on the radio with a Brazilian accent. He's white, bald, and as muscular as a bodybuilder.
Alpha Bravo, Charlie 2, 1 hostage, 6 tango. Red team is good to go. Over.
Sergeant Ramirez holds, waiting for the order.
Roger that. Charlie 2, green light. Repeat. Green light. Over and out.
Ramirez gestures for his teammates, signaling some tactical orders. There are 4 Brazilian special forces ready to start the assault. On the stage, a line of generals, officers, and some authorities in suits are watching the demonstration. There is a simulation of a tactical action against communist guerrillas. Among the Brazilian army officers is the U.S. Ambassador to Brazil, Thomas Green, 60. Ambassador Green looks comfortable within the military. He laughs and comments on the action. A 3-star general points at a spot on the field, calling for the ambassador's attention.
Watch it.
Pow! A flashbang explosion. Operation starts with perfect synchronization. A machine gun gives some cover, while smoke grenades conceal the initial movement. It is all over in a few seconds. The officers and guests applaud. Ambassador Thomas Green nods his head while smoking a cigar, looking thrilled. He talks to the 3-star general.
That was really impressive, General. What do you call him?
The general seems proud of his men. The answer is given by Major Diaz, 35, an engaging Brazilian intelligence officer with a charming smile. Diaz is at the general's side.
They are called Focus SPCAs, Ambassador, Special Forces. This is our first counter-guerrilla unit.
It's good to see that our cooperation agreement is helping these young soldiers.
That's much appreciated, sir. Unfortunately, our president doesn't seem to understand that there's a war going on. People in the army are starting to think that we'll have to take control of this situation at some point.
Well, we know who our allies are, General, and we know who the enemy is. When time comes, we'll stand with our allies.
Colonel Garrett, 45, U.S. military attaché, approaches. He looks at the ambassador and waits. Ambassador Thomas Green sees him and marches out.
Great job, great job. If you'll excuse me.
Green approaches Colonel Garrett, trying to figure out what the hell is going on. Colonel Garrett has a face as solid as a rock, no facial expression, impossible to read.
Agent Colton is in Washington, D.C., sir. He was seen entering the State Department building.
State Department? What does he want?
He was visiting a friend from intelligence.
Do we have a problem?
Not sure, sir. You know Colton. Always hard to tell.
Colonel Garrett keeps a face of steel. Green nods.
I'll make a courtesy call to Secretary Russ.
Garrett acknowledges. Interior CIA headquarters, Langley, day. Mark waits in a conference room. He looks at his watch, keeping Operation Brother Sam dossier right in front of him. Colton enters. Going in with him is Camilla Ferreira, 25, a sexy con artist action girl with some streetwise attitude. She's Brazilian.
That's Camilla. She's an associate of ours in Brazil. That's Officer Mark Chambers.
Camilla shakes hands with Mark.
Boy, are you going to join us?
Officer Chambers is here just to present us his opinion, right?
Mark murmurs.
Well, you know, it's,
Oh, sure, cool.
Why don't you show him who's who?
Right, boss.
Interior CIA headquarters, projector hall, continuous. Lights out. Camilla uses the slide projector to present some photographs of important subjects in their environment. Each phrase, a new photo. The first picture is President Jango. Note, real historical figure.
That's Brazilian President João Goulart, aka Django, accused of promoting a rebellion in the lower ranks of the armed forces, reported to have links with Russia and China, is encamping oil refineries and closing American companies in Brazil.
Is he a dictator?
He was elected vice president, took over after the resignation of President Quadros.
Why Ambassador Green wants to take him out?
Our beloved ambassador thinks Django is with the Congress. He's selling to the White House that Django will cancel his upcoming elections.
Camilla projects the photograph of Ambassador Thomas Green.
Lead Ambassador Thomas L. Green, political sciences at Harvard, 2 terms as congressman, big party name, appointed ambassador to Brazil by Eisenhower, reappointed by Kennedy.
He was a friend of Kennedy Sr. May run for Senate next elections.
Lights on. Camilla sits back at the table as Mark studies her.
Is Green on target? Will Django cross out these elections?
Django has no popular support, and armed forces hate him. There's no way he could cancel next elections.
He is using his political influence to pass off unchecked intelligence reports to President Johnson. People here in Langley are starting to wonder why.
Still, Green could be right.
Camilla decides to step in.
Should we go through the military operation?
Sure. But they're really calling it Brother Sam?
Kennedy's idea. Guess Operation Uncle Sam would be too much.
Interior CIA headquarters map wall, continuous. Camilla, Colton, and Mark move to a map of Brazil. Pins on the map mark the cities of Rio, Santos, and other points in this area. It is a display of the military plan.
The Naval Task Force will land in Rio, and they'll use a submarine to deliver weapons and supplies to the port of Santos.
Who are we sending these weapons to?
Beats me.
Probably to some rubbish pro-American made-up militia that will end up selling them back into the black market.
Great. Alright, where's the capital?
Here,
Camilla points to Brasilia. It's right in the middle of the country, far away from the coastline. Not where Mark expected.
Really? How far is that?
700 miles from the sea if it was a straight line, which it isn't. Terrible roads, no trains.
Exactly what are they taking here?
Mark looks at Rio on the map.
that's Rio. It used to be the capital.
Used to be.
They changed it 4 years ago.
A moment while Mark processes all of it.
Are you saying they're planning the operation in the damn wrong city?
Tell me, man. You're the expert.
I'm not a military expert.
Mark studies the map.
From a political point of view, securing the capital is essential. It's a symbol of power.
Do you have an opinion?
Mark walks around and considers the facts. Colton taps his finger over the table, impatient.
If we send this task force, the Soviets will support the other side. They did in North Korea, North Vietnam, Cuba. If this Django guy holds the capital long enough, Reds will send weapons and money to him.
A civil war?
Mark sits back.
Pure speculation. As I said, I'm not a military expert, and
The operation is bullshit, and you know it. Green plans to look good for the upcoming Senate elections. He wants to play soldier, and he thinks this will be a military parade.
That's not good.
Let me show you something.
Interior CIA Directorate of Plans, continuous. A cluttered and disordered office. Sign on the door says, CIA Directorate of Plans, Latin America Branch. Colton stares at a picture on the wall. It shows a younger Colton in military uniform with 4 other soldiers, appearing to be a Black Ops strike team. The soldiers look confident. Colton points to each man.
Leroy Bullseye, Juan El Gapo Rodriguez, Tim Mad Dog Daniels, Mohawk Steve.
Mark and Camilla are intrigued.
These were good men. They all died the same day we took this picture, the Bay of Pigs.
Flashback. Colton's Black Ops unit is pinned down and is hammered by Cuban forces in Bay of Pigs. Colton shoots a machine gun in a desperate way as Mohawk Steve is deadly shot. End of flashback.
176 of our finest men died in that bay, for nothing, because a politician thought it was a good plan.
Mark goes silent.
Brother Sam Task Force doesn't have the manpower, and the strategy is laughable. This will be the next fiasco.
that's...
Colton glances once more to Mohawk Steve and the others in the photograph.
We must stop it. I won't let this happen again.
Camilla comes closer to Mark.
Mark, couldn't you just come with us?
Look, I'd love to. It's complicated. This requires interagency cooperation. We have to put the Secretary of State on board of this, and...
Green has friends all over D.C. No one will move a finger against him. At least, not directly.
So? What do you expect me to do?
Green still has enemies. We can work with that.
Colton goes to his desk and presses the interphone.
Denise, make that call.
Yes, sir.
Who are you calling?
I'm calling no one. Denise is calling.
Director Hughes online too.
That's my boss. Are you damn crazy? We're not talking to Hughes.
I'm not talking to Hughes. The call is for you.
Mark grabs the phone, fuming. He presses the line 2 button.
Officer Chambers speaking. That's unexpected, sir. Thank you. Much appreciated, sir. Yeah, I'm familiar with the name. I'll see into it. You too, sir.
Mark hangs up. He remains in silence.
So,
The Director of Intelligence just said that they're considering my name for a promotion. Apparently it's associated to a position abroad.
that's good news, man. Isn't it, Camilla?
Sounds like a good deal.
He said that if I'm interested in this position, I should go to Langley and set a meeting with an agent called Colton Bennett.
That's convenient, considering that you're already here.
Camilla, could you give us a minute?
Sure. Act like good boys.
Camilla vacates the office.
You've gone too far this time.
I know what Green is planning. He will support a military dictatorship in Brazil and call off the elections. He thinks he'll be able to control this coup. He's wrong.
Mark considers it, seeming concerned.
I need you on this. You're always the cool head. And Mr. Zany plans and wacky schemes.
I'm not the same guy you met in Cuba, Colton.
Do you want to make amends with Cuba? This is the new Cuba. You know Laura would want you to do that.
Mark sneers. That was a huge blow under the belt, but Mark makes an effort to keep calm.
Why? Because she was Brazilian? You're reaching.
Stop hiding, man. Do you genuinely want to keep training green agents and be mired in paperwork for the rest of your life? Time to move on.
Mark stands up.
Sorry, not my war.
Mark turns his back to Colton.
Mark! Mark!
Mark leaves the office. Interior Mark's apartment at night. Mark holds a photograph of Laura in front of the massive statue of Christ the Redeemer, Brazil's landmark. At the back of the photo is written, "You must see this," signed by Laura. Flashback. Mark and Laura travel on a car, happily cruising the highway.
We should go there next summer. You'll love Brazil.
Sure, maybe next year.
Are you serious?
Mark smiles.
Why not?
End of flashback. Mark puts the photo back on the album, right next to a picture of him, Laura, and Colton celebrating. Mark ponders for a moment. Next, he grips the phone.
Dr. Sanders.
In the kitchen, Mark collects some medication pots from a vast selection of strong psychiatric medicines. Simultaneously, we hear the phone conversation.
I need to reschedule next appointment. I'll be away for a couple of days.
That's the second session in a row, Mark.
In the bedroom, Mark examines brother Sam's dossier, intercutting with the phone conversation.
I know.
You're not planning to go on a mission, are you?
Just tourism.
Okay. We'll talk when you're back.
Mark takes a travel bag and drops it on the bed. Cut to Mark on the telephone once more.
Colton, when are you two planning to leave?
Tomorrow at 9.
Mark holds on the phone, hesitating. Interior, JK Airport, Brasilia, day. Juscelino Kubitschek International Airport is still under construction. It's a third world airport with the bedlam of passengers coming in and out. Mark looks lost, with all the signs in Portuguese and the nonsense cluttering. Colton leads the way. He leaves the disembarkation area and moves into interior, JK Airport, main lobby, continuous. Mark and Colton cross the main lobby.
Okay, the plan is to monitor the ambassador, check his contacts, and shit.
Shit, what?
Colonel Garrett waits for them in the main lobby with a couple of Marines. Garrett sees Colton and Mark.
Welcome, Mr. Chambers. Hope you had a good flight.
Hey, Garrett, my car's already here, so you don't need a ride.
Colonel Garrett offers a patronizing smirk.
The ambassador's waiting for Mr. Chambers.
Sure, I will.
Colonel Garrett blocks Colton and takes Mark's luggage.
Just Mr. Chambers.
I see.
I'm also anxious to meet with the ambassador. We'll catch up later.
Colton takes a moment before answering that.
Sure. See you later, man.
Exterior, Brasilia Golf Club, day. This is an elegant and brand new golf course, located at the side of the iconic Paranoia Lake, a city's landmark. Green plays, preparing a swing with his club. There's a fair distance until the next hole. With Green, 2 security guards, and some golf staff. Major Diaz is on his way out. He passes through Mark with a charming smile. Green hits the ball right into the green. Next, he observes Mark and Colonel Garrett walking towards him. Ambassador Green greets Mark in the way that politicians are experts at doing.
The notorious Mr. Mark Chambers. Secretary Rusk made me great recommendations about you.
Didn't know the Secretary of State was aware of my visit.
Oh, he is. You wouldn't mind walking with us, would you? We're almost closing the round.
Exterior outside the golf course, continuous. Colton sits inside his Dodge Charger watching the golf club entrance. Major Diaz gets out of the golf club. Colton pretends to read a magazine while pressing a device. He operates a hidden camera to shoot multiple photos of the military officer. Exterior Brazilian Golf Club day. Green and Mark walk through the grass towards the ball.
This course isn't officially open yet, but the club manager was kind enough to invite me to a preview.
It's a pleasant course.
It is. And I've heard you're a political advisor. Is that it?
Yes, sir.
Why does the CIA need a political advisor from State Department?
I'm not with the CIA, sir. I'm reporting to Colton.
Well, he's CIA.
I was told he's the cultural attaché's assistant.
And I was told you're smarter than that.
Green gets to the ball and prepares the second swing. He hits and misses the hole by maybe an inch.
Damn! Mark, it looks like you have a promising career in the State Department. As I see it, you could be sitting with the big boys in a couple of years. Who knows, maybe Secretary of State.
Not sure about that, sir.
Well, an ambitious and smart young man can aim high. Even higher than that, if he establishes the proper Washington contacts.
You say so, sir.
I know you and Colton are friends. That's okay. Work with him. All I'm asking for is keep me informed, right? If you see anything out of the ordinary, come to me first.
Of course.
Green strikes the ball again. Now it's in the hole.
That's excellent. I remember who my friends are, Mr. Chambers.
I'm sure of that, sir.
That'll be all. Welcome to Brazil.
Green and his assistants move to the next hole as Mark moves out. Colonel Garrett observes Mark walking, still keeping his rock-solid face. Exterior moving vehicle continuous. Major Diaz is in a Buick, not aware he has been followed. Colton drives a Dodge Charger right at his tail. More photographs. Colton checks the license plate number and repeats it for himself. Both cars cross the monumental axis, passing through the ministry's buildings. Interior CIA safe house, night. Camilla wears headphones surrounded by electronics. This is a CIA espionage apartment full of all kinds of surveillance gadgets from the 60s. Black and white monitors, tape recorders, some photographs on a board. Mark enters.
Good to see CIA's money is being put to good use.
Camilla is brightly surprised.
Hi, Mark. Green already figured you out, huh?
Mark examines the equipment.
That was expected. Is that what you use to keep track of it?
Yep, we have a fella to operate all of that. I'm still figuring out what's what.
Did Garrett see you at the airport?
I'm still under the radar.
Mark looks at pictures on the board. Shango, military officers, and other people of interest. One of the pictures calls his attention. A blonde woman with the corporate looks of the secretary and a gloomy face. That's Rebecca Santos, early 30s.
Okay, let me introduce you to the rest of the merry band.
Mark follows Camilla to interior CIA, safe house, bedroom, continuous. The team members are gathered talking. Conversation stops as Camilla and Mark enter. Marcus Powder Oliveira is a black strongman, 35. Could be ex-military. He cleans an AK-47 rifle, half disassembled.
That's our local team. Powder's our gun supplier. Need anything that shoots or explodes? That's your dog.
Or burn. I like when they burn, too.
And that's Mumbles, our tech dude. He's in charge of all the electronics and things that blink.
Jonas Mumbles Silva, 30, looks like a scared nerd that spent too much time in the basement with long hair and glasses. He avoids looking at Mark or anyone in the eye. Note, Mumbles always speaks mumbling, hard to understand.
Nice. Nice to meet you.
He's not very chatty.
Anna, Madame Love Gianni, 40, is a Brazilian pimp lady, a true MILF, very affectionate. She takes a step forward.
Hello, handsome. Madam, she, how could I put it? She's in the adult entertainment business.
Sorry?
Oh dear. I find some putas for politicians so they can party a bit. Love for rental.
Oh, I see.
She's got the best contacts in town, believe me.
Colton enters the room.
Besides that, Madam is the nicest girl south of the equator.
Don't push it, darling.
Come on, I need to show you something.
Lead the way.
Mark follows Colton. Interior CIA safe house living room, continuous. Colton grabs a photograph from the board. This is Major Diaz. The whole team, Mark, Camilla, Powder, Mumbles, and Madam, surrounds Colton, waiting for the news.
While you were playing golf with our beloved ambassador,
I wasn't playing golf.
I found out who our mysterious officer
Oh
is.
my god, that's huge.
Mysterious officer, what are you talking about?
Green had multiple encounters with that fellow last week, and we couldn't figure out who the prick was.
I followed him today. That's the wanker, Major Diaz, Brazilian military intelligence. He works at the 11th Military Region Command. Apparently, he's training a new counter-guerrilla unit for some sort.
What's his connection to Brother Sam?
Let's put a bug on this jughead's phone and find out.
Are you kidding? This guy is a military spy. How are we supposed to do that?
It's insane. No.
I'm going with Mumbles on this one. This looks dangerous.
Mark considers it.
We could do the Colombian swindle.
Good call.
What the hell is a Colombian swindle?
Okay, folks, this is how you do a Colombian swindle.
Exterior, outside 11th Military Region Street, night. While Mark explains, the plan is already in action. Late night, empty streets.
First, we cut off all communications from the base.
Colton is dressed as a power company guy. He pulls some wires in a box, which shuts off the telephone lines.
We leave only one emergency line running, linked directly to us.
Interior CIA safe house, living room night. Camilla wears a headset. She answers the call from the military base.
When they call to complain about the lines,
Interior garage night. Powder and Mumbles disguise the van, putting all the symbols of a local telephone company onto the van's sides.
we send our guys to fix it.
Mark puts on a repairman's uniform. He inspects the work on the van. Exterior 11th Military Region Command night. The fake telephone van is at the base gates. Powder and Mumbles are in the front seat, dressed as telephone technicians. A Brazilian soldier checks their identification and lets them in. Interior CIA safe house night. Cut to Mark, who finishes the explanation of the plan.
We get inside, pretend to fix the lines, and set the bug.
We're gonna need a site plan.
I know a fella at the fire department. I can get it.
Interior 11th Military Region Command, corridors night. Powder, Mumbles, and Mark walk through the base's corridors dressed as phone technicians. They look for a room escorted by a base soldier.
Get in, put the bug, get out. Easy job.
Powder, Mumbles, and Mark get to a dead-end corridor. Something isn't right. The target room should be at this point, but they are facing a wall instead.
Communication box should be in the next room.
Guess it was changed in the last replay. Anyway, there's a communication box right here.
Base soldier shows a box right in the corridor that they already are.
Yeah, but we need to test all the connections. We should check the following section.
That's the intelligence sector. I'd have to get clearance for that.
Mumbles examines the communication box indicated by the soldier. He probes the circuits with his screwdriver, and a spark comes out of the box. The gleam was created by Mumbles.
Some problem. Wire. Off lights.
What did he say?
He found a short circuit. We need you to turn off the lights so we can fix it.
This is a military facility. We can't just turn off the lights.
All right, pal, no phone calls tonight. We can come back tomorrow.
Mark prepares to get out. Base soldier is in a deadlock.
I'll talk to the officer on duty. Generator kicks in about 60 seconds after the power is off. It's automatic. Fix it as soon as the lights are gone. Got it?
That's fine.
Base soldier walks out. Powder grabs a gun with a silencer from his toolbox.
I'll silence that guy.
Don't. I can figure it out.
Mark looks around, thinking. Colton recalls on the radio.
What's going on, shit pack? Can I reconnect the phone lines?
Not now.
Mark checks the window and determines a path to reach the adjoining room by the outside. He opens the double hung. Lights are out.
I'll get there.
Mark is on the move, going outside the double hung window and stepping into the external part of the building.
What are you doing?
Damn.
Exterior 11th Military, outside the building, continuous. Mark tries to keep in balance while he paces over a thin edge. Any wrong step would lead to a fall 5 floors high. The whole military base is in shadows now. Mark has an earpiece which allows him to receive instructions from Powder.
Okay, there should be another window, 20 feet away from you.
Mark glances down and eyes the base in pitch dark. He looks at the base's fences, where a soldier turns on a flashlight. And then, a glimpse. Mark sees and hears a crowd of protesters pushing through the base's fences. Image from Cuba prologue. Mark grabs onto a metal pipe, which isn't properly fixed on the wall. The pipe sags, and Mark almost loses his balance. He looks at his hand. They're trembling, vertigo feeling. Mark looks down again and notices there is no crowd. All quiet. Mark places his back against the wall, trying to recover his breath. He grabs a medicine pot from inside his pocket and takes some anxiolytic pills, still trembling.
Are you inside the room? Mark! Mark!
Wait.
Mark makes an effort to calm down and continues to step over the edge. getting to the next window. He struggles to open the window and perceives it's locked from the inside. Mark snatches a knife and uses it to work the lock. First try, no good. Second try, the lock moves a bit but doesn't open. Mark clears his sweat. The third attempt is the charm. As soon as the window opens, Mark jumps into Interior Major Diaz's office, continuous. Mark examines the room.
I'm in. What am I looking for?
Look for a grey metal box. Should be at your left.
The communication box is hidden behind a metal cabinet, difficult to reach.
I see it.
Mark tries to outstretch his arms behind the cabinet to open the gray box.
Mumbles says it's the second plug from the top.
Mark wields the knife and opens the metal case. Planting the bug, however, is exceedingly harder. Mark performs some contortionist moves to put the spy equipment in place. He groans, trying to make his arms grow longer. No success. Cut to, base soldier walks through a corridor, flashlight in his hands. Cut to, Mark is still inside Major Diaz's office.
I'm hearing footsteps. The guy's back.
Buy me time.
No time, dude. Come back here.
Bug isn't set.
Abort, dude. Abort!
No idea. Mark pushes the cabinet. It's a damn heavy metal cabinet. He buys an inch of space. That's enough. Mark stretches again and puts the bug on the right plug.
10 seconds.
Exterior 11th Military, outside the building, night. Mark gets out through the window. He keeps the balance while forcing the jammed window down.
5 seconds.
The window finally slams. Mark makes his way back with quick paces, balancing over the thin edge and trying to prevent a deadly fall.
He's here.
Interior, 11th Military Region Command, corridors, continuous. Base soldier walks through a dark corridor. Vroom, the generators kick in. Lights are on. Base soldier turns the corner and sees Mark, Powder, and Mumbles standing up. Mark is still shaking, but tries to mask it.
So, are the lines fixed?
Powder and Mumbles put their equipment back into the bags right away.
Yeah, lines are good now.
Mark looks at his hand, which is still shivering. He seems concerned. Exterior U.S. Embassy to Brazil, day. Establishing of the embassy's front. Interior Green's office, day. Ambassador Thomas Green is at his desk reading and signing a bunch of papers. The intercom buzzes.
Major Diaz is on the circular line, sir.
Green pushes the red button. Encryption sound effects as the secure line is established.
Ambassador Green here.
Intercut with Major Diaz, who is in his office at the 11th Military Region Command.
I asked around about the IBAD papers.
Focus on the bug at Diaz's office, blinking, decrypting the conversation.
And? Do you have them?
There's some fuzz about them. Someone is trying to sell it to the highest bidder.
We need to get...
Interior CIA, safe house, living room, same time. Mumbles wears a headset and operates the electronic equipment. Mark, Colton, and Camilla listen to the ambassador's conversation on the speaker. The bug is working.
These papers first, Major.
We're on it.
Back to Intercut Green, Major Diaz.
Operation is on the move. Django can't get these documents. Is it clear?
We understand what's at stake here, sir.
Understood, Major. Call me when you have them.
End of intercutting. Clang. Telephone hangs up. Conversation is over. Mark thinks a bit.
IBAD papers, what's that about?
Camilla stares at Colton.
Not sure, man.
I have to check out the hood and find out who's trying to sell it. I've got some fella in mind.
Clark nods, acknowledging. Interior bar at the lake, night. Crowded bar at the margins of Lake Parnois. There are a deck and some boats on the water. Beautiful night, lovely view of the lake. Loud music and people having fun while Mark watches on a person of interest. Camilla brings 2 glasses of a drink, smiling.
Do you have eyes on the target?
He's there, not moving.
Camilla and Mark pretend to be a couple for this operational task. Mark lays his eyes on Jazz, 40s, a well-connected drug dealer, Jamaican style. Jazz laughs, sitting at a table at Camilla's back, surrounded by beautiful ladies and well-dressed guys. He shows the goodies to a possible client. Camilla samples the drink.
Colton didn't tell you about IBAD, huh?
Do you know what that is?
Camilla puts on a gracious grin.
Front company operated by the CIA. Last election crap. It was used for illegal funding or some shit like that.
Colton knows about it? Why would he lie?
I know, right? That's Colton.
Mark snorts. He tastes the drink, peeking at Jazz.
Why are you working with him?
We gotta get some Kleenex, bud.
I'm not easy to impress.
Camilla breaks eye contact, glancing down. She takes a Tic Tac inside her purse and offers one to Mark.
Want some?
Mark accepts it.
I've lost someone some time ago. I needed a payback, and Things got messy. Colton helped me.
Girl with a troubled past. CIA's favorite material.
I work for Colton, not for the CIA. What about you? Why'd you come?
Mark considers it for a moment, remembering Laura.
I made a promise that I couldn't keep. I'm trying to set the score right.
Are we all?
Is Colton right? Are we doing the right thing?
He is. We have to stop Brother Sam.
Why?
Django's a stupid man, but he's the rightful president. He must be dealt with in a ballot, not by foreign invasion.
Wouldn't it be easier if US just kicked him out?
Do you think Ambassador Green plans to call for elections? He'll seize the opportunity to place a general at patsy president and keep Brazilians under his leash.
Mark seems bothered.
Is that what you think US is doing here?
Brazilians should deal with Django. Green will just mess things up.
Mark considers this as he sips a drink.
I see.
What did Colton say to convince you?
He didn't have to convince me. I owe him, and he knows it. I was the one who needed to convince myself.
Camilla gets closer to Mark, flirting.
You know, he tried to use me to bring you down here, right?
That was a bit too obvious.
Didn't work.
I'm here, so...
Suddenly, Jazz stands up and moves out. Mark presses his earpiece and talks to his sleeve.
Target's on the move.
Colton responds on Mark's earpiece.
Copy that?
Exterior parking lot night. Jazz walks out from the bar looking suspicious. Mark and Camilla follow him. Jazz moves faster. He ends up facing Powder, who shows up looking menacing. Jazz turns to another direction. Jazz passes by a Dodge Charger, not paying attention to what is inside. Colton jumps out from the car, grabs Jazz, and pulls him into the vehicle. Interior Dodge Charger, continuous. Colton points a .45 pistol at Jazz, right on his face.
Relax, noodlehead. No sudden moves and nobody gets hurt.
Mark, Camilla, and Powder enter in the car, surrounding Jazz.
Oi, Jazz, what's going on, my dog?
Jazz speaks in a peculiar street speech.
Yeah, girl, yeah, freaking problem.
Mark frisks Jazz, grabbing a pack of marijuana from Jazz's inside pocket.
What is that? Night snack?
Don't mess with that. That's the good stuff, the rich people stuff.
Alright, pal, it's just business. You talk, we pay, and you'll get your stuff back.
Jazz makes an attempt to be cool, appearing to be focused.
Okay, I'm all business. I can deal. Some answers for some dough, let's do it, bro. What you guys want to know?
Who is selling the IBAD papers?
Oh, damn no, that's spy talk. Why everybody's keep talking all that shit? Are you freaking government? Are you with the government, man?
Focus on me, Jazz. IBAD papers. Who has it? We can do it nice and easy, or...
Sorry, bruv, sorry, I don't want what you're talking about. You talk about this shit, see, I end up some ninja dude in a schema shagging your mama, cutting your heart out.
Colton smiles. He looks at Mark.
The fun way it is.
Exterior Brasilia Zoo, night. Powder holds Jazz over the edge of a pit, while Jazz screams and tries not to move forward. At their feet, there's a pit with 3 tigers. Jazz is already past the safety bar. A sign of danger is at his side. The tigers are excited. They jump on the pit's wall, trying to reach their next meal. Roar!
Stop, don't do it, bruv, don't do it.
Guess what, Jazz? We're the freaking ninja dudes with ski masks. We'll bang your mother and cut your heart out. A name!
Powder pushes Jazz a bit closer to the pit's board, holding him up in midair. The tiger's paws pass close to Jazz's feet. Tiger, roar! Jazz screams.
Last chance, pal.
Stop! I know who has the paper, I gave you the name, Don, the playboy, big Latino dude. Come on, bro, come on.
Camilla nods. She knows who Dan the Playboy is. Powder pulls Jazz back to safety and Jazz plunges to the ground. Mark throws the marijuana pack back to Jazz. He also pays for the information, flipping some bills. Wynn carries part of the money into the tiger's den.
You're freaking psychopaths.
We know, dude.
Mark leads the way out. Interior Dodge Charger moving car night. Mark and Colton are alone in the car.
Camilla told me IBAD was a CIA front. Are you going to tell me what that's all about?
Colton hesitates.
Okay, drama queen. These papers are a list of politicians that Green has inside his pocket. He wants it back, badly. We got the papers, we neutralized Green, and we stopped Brother Sam.
How can you be so certain?
I'm sure. Trust me on this.
Mark knows Colton's hiding something, but he lets it go for now. Exterior California Club, continuous. Front view of the house, a strip club with a kitsch decoration. On the front wall, posters of hot, lovely girls in their lingerie with their faces partially covered. Cut to Camilla in the safe house.
Madam arranged a meeting with the Playboy. Neutral ground, no guns, he's willing to sell the papers.
Back to scene. Mark and Colton enter the club. Interior California Club entrance continuous. The security guy inspects Mark and Colton. They don't have a piece on them. Mark moves to Interior California Club main room, continuous. Mark and Colton sit at the chairs close to the stage. A girl does a sexy performance dressed in a slut double costume. The stripper's bra comes off. Mark examines the place looking for suspects. He sees a smiling guy with a golden tooth, some college students in a bachelor party, and a bald, muscular type, Corporal DeLuca. DeLuca downs a tequila shot. Mark doesn't know him, but keeps an eye on the big military type, just in case. Camilla is dressed as one of the waitresses. That's a sexy outfit, but could conceal a small gun. She makes eye contact with Mark and then moves. Madam approaches Mark.
Boys, house rules, you won't kill anyone here tonight. Is it clear, darling?
We're cool, madam. Where's he?
Come.
Madam walks toward the back of the club, Mark and Colton following her. She opens the door to a Interior California Club pool room, continuous. As Mark and Colton enter, they see only one guy in this pool room, Dan the Playboy, big Latino man, 30s, looking like a boxer. The room is decorated in a sadomasochist theme. It has chains, shackles, cages, mannequins with vinyl outfits, and lots of photographs with explicit S&M scenes on the wall. Dan nears the pool table in the middle of the room. Mark and Colton move forward as Madam closes the door after them, waiting on the outside.
You're the gringos looking for the IBAD papers, right?
Maybe. Do you have them?
Dan sets the balls for an 8-ball pool game, and then takes a wooden cube.
It depends. That's $1 million ticket, dude.
Dan aims, hits the cue ball, and breaks the game, pocketing the 8-ball. He smiles.
You know you're not supposed to pocket a ball and break, right, Dick dude?
Who are you? The freaking pool police?
All right, big guy, we can make the price, but we need to check the papers.
Do you have the money?
Does it look like we have $1 million in our pockets?
Dan mumbles something, cursing. Another shot at the balls, another ball pocketed.
No money, no papers.
No paper, no money. We can do that all night long, okay? We need a sample first.
Dan smirks.
You're not the only one looking for them, you know. Maybe I should hand it to Django's people. Or maybe I should sell it to the other American.
American? Which American?
Pow! The door slams wide open. Major Diaz and 2 other special forces, Sergeant Ramirez and Corporal DeLuca, enter the room with guns in their hands, dressed in civilian clothes. DeLuca grabs Madam by the arm. She opens her mouth and blood comes out from it. Madam crumbles to the ground, a knife in her back. Dan jumps towards the thugs, holding a wooden cube. Pow! 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 Multiple shots on Dan, opening some holes in his big chest. Dan falls dead, blood all over the pool table. Major Diaz and the 2 soldiers keep Mark and Colton under the gun sight. Diaz talks to Mark, charming smile still on.
Sorry to interrupt, gentlemen, and now we are the papers.
You just killed the only guy who actually knew that.
Camilla shows up from nowhere, angrily screaming, "Ah!" Camilla kicks Major Diaz in the back, hurling him over the pool table. She manages to draw a .765 Magnum and shoots at Sergeant Ramirez, hitting his belly. Mark and Colton jump over the attackers, trying to disarm the special forces. Guns are dropped, grabbed, and thrown around the floor. With no guns in their hands, every object becomes a weapon. Sexual shackles, whips, wooden cues, the scoreboard. Ramirez, Diaz, and DeLuca are special forces, not your typical soldiers. These are tough brawlers ready for anything. As the fight goes on, DeLuca grabs Colton and hoists him up in the air, slamming him over a pile of wooden cues that are hanging on the wall. Major Diaz grasps a gun and is about to shoot at Mark. Camilla runs into Diaz, a mannequin's arm in her arms.
Hell no, you stupid motherfucker.
Camilla hits the light-side dummy arm on Diaz's head, knocking him down. Meanwhile, Mark and Ramirez fight for a pistol. Mark ends up with the gun in his hand, wielding the gun's grip to smash Sergeant Ramirez's head multiple times.
Just keep down your shit-ass twat.
Camilla is at Corporal DeLuca's back, making an attempt to strangle him with some chains. DeLuca just keeps hitting Colton.
Freaking crazy bitch!
DeLuca grabs Camilla and slings her over the pool table. That was the 1 second that Colton needed. Corporal DeLuca is about to hammer down on Colton again. This time, Colton is already pointing a gun to DeLuca's chest.
Good night, cowboy.
Caw! A shot right through DeLuca's heart. He falls cold dead. Colton stands up. Mark is still wailing on Sergeant Ramirez. Colton aims at Major Diaz, who just recovered his senses.
No, 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 no!
2 shots. Colton kills Major Diaz as well. Police sirens. Mark leaves Ramirez, who is unconscious now, and checks on Madam. Madam Love is dead, petrified eyes. While Mark is with Madam, Colton's at the back, putting 3 shots into Ramirez's head. Pam, pam, pam. No prisoners this time.
Unless you're Jesus freaking Christ, there's nothing you can do here. She's gone.
Mark stands up in shock, eyeing at Madam. What he sees is Laura, covered in blood. He's having a panic attack. Camilla snaps him out of it.
Hey, Mark! Mark! Police are here, we gotta go.
Mark nods, still confused. Camilla pulls him into interior California Club main room continuous. The main room is a mess now, as strippers, clients, and waitresses run all over the premises. People try to escape while the police seek to keep everyone inside.
This way.
Camilla leads the way and runs to the back of the club. Mark and Colton are right behind her. They move into interior California Club backstage continuous. Mark, Camilla, and Colton run through the backstage where a half-naked stripper grabs her things and go. Camilla leads them through the emergency exit, leaving the club. Interior CIA safe house, living room, dawn. Mark, Colton, and Camilla are all thrashed, covered in blood, and with bruises all over their bodies. Camilla has a black eye. She puts some ice on it to deal with the swelling. They feel defeated.
Madam was nice. She didn't deserve that.
Colton reflects on recent events, grabbing a beer from the fridge.
Green knows what we're up to. Diaz wouldn't go that far if he didn't have Green's blessings.
Mark takes a pill from his anxiolytic medicine, out of sight. Next, he turns to Colton.
You called me to halt a military operation, Colton. Why are we wasting our time chasing papers instead?
That's how missions go. We investigate, we check things, we improvise. We can't plan the whole thing.
You're a damn liar, pal.
Told you already, man. Green wants these papers, so...
That isn't the whole story. Madam is dead. And you're still keeping me in the dark. What the fuck happened at IBAD?
A lengthy silence. Colton grunts.
Sure. Do you really want to know? Damn 1960 election.
Exterior, Rio de Janeiro, campaign rally, 1960, day. Super, Brazil's 1960 elections. A big campaign rally. A candidate delivers a ferocious speech as a crowd of hundreds of people watches it, protesting and shouting. Flags and signs with communist and labor symbols, red shirts, and red flags.
Polls in 1960 weren't good. Not a clear winner. Some radicals were scaring us a lot.
Exterior U.S. Embassy night. A couple of radicals throw a Molotov cocktail in the U.S. Embassy's walls. The wall burns. Interior U.S. Embassy meeting room day. Ambassador Green, 4 years ago, is in a meeting at the embassy with local authorities. Colton and Colonel Garrett are in this encounter.
Green came up with a plan. We'd create a fake institute and finance our own candidates. Pro-American Congress. Strong opposition against Quadros and Django.
Interior CIA safe house living room day. Colton stares at Mark's eyes.
So it began.
Montage.
More money than we could possibly count. It was right after Cuba, so Ike was shitting his pants. We needed a win here.
Colton leaves a bag of money in a restaurant. He stands up and someone picks it up. A package full of jewelry and precious gems exchanges hands. Thomas Green observes the exchange. He sits in the dark, smoking a cigar. Colonel Garrett opens the trunk of the vehicle. It is full of cash. He hands the keys to someone. End of montage, back to CIA safe house.
Of course, all of this was totally illegal. No sanction from U.S. Congress, no executive orders.
Beginning of montage.
After the elections, the story leaked. Django ordered a full investigation. We had to bury it. Clear all the damn fingerprints.
Colonel Garrett walks into a bathroom, wielding a gun with a silencer. He shoots multiple times at the fat guy taking a shower. An explosion, a house burns down. Someone runs from the house in flames. Colton places a plastic bag over a guy's head. 2 thugs hold down the poor guy who suffocates to death. Body is thrown in a river. End of montage, back to CIA safe house. Colton offers a beer to Mark and hands another one to Camilla. Mark passes on the beer, seeming outraged.
You forged the fucking elections.
I was following orders.
We were the ones supposed to defend democracy, not to mock on it. We should do better than that.
Colton is upset as he feels he's failed Mark.
I thought it was over. That we destroyed all the evidence.
That someone kept the documents. Is that what the IBAD papers are?
They're supposed to have all the names, all the accounts, every single candidate illegally financed by the CIA. If Django gets it...
Mark considers it.
That's why Green wants Django out. He's pressing for Brother Sam to cover his crap.
My God, these documents could send Green to jail.
Could get me to the slammer as well, sweetie pie.
It won't get that far. We get the papers, we own Green. No need to actually expose them.
Looks like that's how we stop Brother Sam.
All right, pal. Let's do this.
Interior Green's office, day. Colonel Garrett stands before Green, finishing delivering the bad news. Ambassador Green tries to contain his anger, but he fails. Green slams at the desk.
God damn it! What's Colton?
Green contains his rage and calms down. He glances at a volume of Shakespeare's Macbeth on his shelf, reciting it by heart.
Look like the innocent flower, but be the serpent under it.
Do you want me to handle this?
And keep an eye on Colton and his associates. Watch them closely. Tiffany, may you come here?
Tiffany, 25, a slim secretary, enters the room.
Please write it down. To President Lyndon Johnson.
Interior White House, Oval Office, day. A staffer delivers a document to the President of the United States, President Lyndon B. Johnson. He examines it. There are 4 senior military officers in the room.
Latest developments in Brazil show that Django is ready to move. We must act ASAP if we wish to keep democracy in this country.
One of the officers puts an executive order in front of the President. Johnson nods. Reluctantly, he signs the order. In the formal document, the words Brother Sam and is hereby authorized stand out. The executive order is handed to a 4-star admiral who vacates the room. Exterior Caribbean Sea, day. A naval task force sails in the Caribbean Sea in a perfect formation. The sender flagship is a naval aircraft carrier, the USS Forrestal. The carrier is escorted by 4 other destroyers and 2 supply ships.
We recommend that the Naval Task Force sets its course to Brazil immediately.
Sound of Morse code being transmitted.
We already started the arrangements with the Brazilian Army.
Interior, USS Forrestal, bridge, day. One messenger hands an important message to Admiral Clark, 50, experienced military. The Admiral sits on the captain's chair at the bridge, examining a transcription of the executive order signed by the President.
We believe Brother Sam could be set in motion as early as April. It's time to make history. Signed, Ambassador Thomas L. Green.
Admiral Clark shows no emotion reading his orders. He folds the message carefully. Exterior, Asa Sul, streets, day. Colton is inside his car watching someone. That's Rebecca, woman in the photograph at CAA's safe house. She gets out from the bank. The woman looks nervous and suspicious. Interior Rebecca's apartment, day. Rebecca enters her apartment. Colton is waiting for her, sitting in the dark.
Hi, Blondie.
Rebecca's blood freezes. She stares at Colton.
Are you gonna kill me?
If I wanted you dead, Ice Queen, I'd have done it 3 years ago.
Rebecca puts her keys over the table and sits.
How was my daughter?
Don't you dare use that word. Claire's father's dead. Got me?
Colton suffers the blow, stronger than a punch could possibly be. He sucks it in.
What are you doing here? You should be in Bolivia.
My mom is ill.
I'll just ask once. Do you have the IBAD papers? Are you the one trying to sell them?
I've got nothing. You told me to destroy all the documents. I was stupid enough to hear you. What's going on now?
Colton stands up, ignoring the question.
You've got to vanish. You shouldn't be here.
Where should I go?
I don't know, and you shouldn't tell me. I spared your life once. There may not be a second time.
Colton leaves. Interior CIA safe house living room, day. Colton enters the room, late.
Where were you?
Are you my mommy now? I was checking the equipment.
Mark goes on and explains the plan to the team. Colton, Camilla mumbles, and Powder listen up.
Okay, folks. Dan was only the middleman. Someone else has the papers. Whoever got them knows he could sell it for $1 million, so he'll try again.
And we'll just wait.
We'll keep Green under surveillance. For now, we prowl. At the right time, we'll bite.
Right. But when he tries to get in contact, what's the plan?
We'll do the Marrakesh double dropout.
Colton grins.
What the hell is a Marrakesh double dropout?
You'll see.
Montage. The team listens to Green's communications day in, day out. Sun sets, night comes, sun rises again. Mumbles, Camilla, Colton, Mark, and Powder take turns in the equipment, wearing the phones and checking the monitors. Mumbles plays with the crosswords. Camilla reads some movie star magazine with a 60s celebrity on the cover. Mark balances a house of cards. Powder almost falls asleep. No news from Green, no contact. Tedious job. End of montage. Interior Mark's hotel room, night. This is a very stark hotel room. TV is on, but Mark is not paying attention to it. A half-empty bottle of whiskey is on the table. Mark already drank some.
In a controversial statement, President Django defended the legalization of the Communist Party during a speech at Central Station. Django's low popularity is starting to...
Knock, knock, knock. Someone is at the door. Mark grabs his gun and checks the peephole. It's Camilla. He opens the door.
You scared the hell out of me.
Camilla looks great.
Oi, Mark, sorry to disappoint you. Colton asked me to bring you some reports about Django. He could be deposed any time now.
Come in.
Camilla enters and puts the reports on the table. Mark sounds a bit drunk.
It's not our job to keep Django in his post. We just can't have Green carrying out this ridiculous military operation.
Camilla glances at the bottle of whiskey.
Colton told me about the Cuba thing. Do you want to talk about it?
Mark frowns.
Nothing to talk about. I made the wrong call.
But no, that wasn't your blunder.
Mark snorts.
We had a source inside President Batista's staff that... He told us Batista was leaving the island.
Interior U.S. Embassy in Cuba. Flashback. Night. Mark and Colton argue inside the CIA's interrogation room. A Cuban source is with them.
Colton believed him. I didn't. I followed protocol, said we needed a confirmation.
Interior Mark's hotel room. Night. Camilla gets closer to Mark.
Mark, if you followed a protocol, I don't see how this could have been your fault.
Because of that, evacuation started too late.
Mark sees the crowd at the embassy's gate in Cuba. He hears them shouting.
There was no time.
No one thinks you were responsible for that.
Just the people in the State Department did.
Camilla pats Mark in a nurturing way.
That's just politics. The old blame game.
I thought things would get ugly after Cuba. Colton covered for me.
That sounds like Colton.
Yeah. I should've...
Mark, it's called survivor's guilt. There's no way you would have guessed all of that. Bad things will happen sometimes.
Sounds like something Laura would say.
Camilla kisses Mark on the cheek in a gentle and sympathetic way.
Sweet dreams, bud. Ciao.
Interior Mark's hotel room later. Mark is awake thinking. TV is off. It's just him and his thoughts. The telephone rings.
You gotta come here.
Interior CIA safe house, living room night. Colton presses the play button on a tape recorder. Mark mumbles Camilla and Powder listen to the conversation on the speaker.
Yes, we're interested. We could do this at the embassy for diplomatic immunity.
Interior Rebecca's apartment, continuous. Rebecca speaks on the phone, seeming to be anxious.
I won't go into the embassy. Not after what happened to Dan.
Rebecca looks at a big file. It bears the logo of the IBAD on its cover.
Be ready with the money.
Interior CIA safe house, living room night. Mark devotes focused attention to the tape.
I'll send you the instructions tomorrow at noon.
A moment of silence.
Mumbles, can you trace back the call? Can we identify her somehow?
No need. I know who she is. That's Rebecca.
Colton takes Rebecca's picture from the board.
Rebecca? Who's Rebecca?
She's a fucking liar.
Colton squeezes Rebecca's photo.
Alright. Are the cars ready?
Mumbles murmurs something.
They're all set.
Exterior U.S. Embassy in Brazil, day. A black sedan with a diplomatic license plate exits the embassy at frantic speed. Interior black sedan moving, continuous. Colonel Garrett is inside the black sedan in the back seat. The car screams like a speedball. Intercut to Rebecca on the phone.
Find me in Beirut restaurant in 20 minutes. There's a reservation for you at table 9.
Back to scene. Colonel Garrett's car is followed by a second black sedan, which also belongs to the U.S. Embassy. Second car. Inside the second car, 3 security men in suits. One of them checks his semi-automatic pistol. Exterior, Exinio Sul, streets, continuous. There is a traffic jam ahead. The 2 black sedans are forced to stop. Inside the first sedan.
What the hell?
I think there's something on the road.
On the road, a lamppost has fallen on the street. Some maintenance vehicle blocks the road. Powder and Mumbles pretend to work at the lamppost while they halt all traffic. Inside the first sedan.
Damn it. Back off. Back off!
On the road, a small truck parks bumper to bumper with the second embassy's sedan. Now the embassy's cars can't back off either. They are locked into the traffic jam. Inside the small truck, Camilla drives, wearing a baseball cap and glasses to disguise herself.
Hey, Dom. Wolf's inside the trap. Your turn now, boys. Over.
Interior restaurant in front of Beiruta. Day. This is not the Beiruta. Rebecca is in another restaurant placed across the street, sitting at a table. From her point of view, Rebecca can observe perfectly Beiruta restaurant's entrance. Colton enters the restaurant. Mark covers him holding a bulky bag. Colton sits at Rebecca's table. She looks shocked.
That was clever. Good observation point. So, what's the plan, Rebecca? Send a waiter to collect the money?
Oh, shit.
Damn right, oh shit. You lied to me.
Let's call it even then.
You knew damn well what we were getting into when you joined IBAD. I saved your ass.
After killing everyone else.
Colton is boiling, infuriated.
Garrett is coming here. He'll kill you, you know.
You don't know that.
I know that, Rebecca. You're the only IBAD employee still breathing.
Colton taps his finger at the table.
I've got your $1 million right here. Take it and disappear.
Don't want your damn money.
It's not my money, stupid bitch. That's CIA money. Think of it as a retirement pay.
Damn you.
Exterior, Achinio Sul, streets, day. Colonel Garrett and two security guys jump off their vehicles, guns in their hands. They move on foot to a parallel road that is not blocked. Garrett stops a red Aero Release, a car from the 60s. He pulls the driver out violently. Garrett drives the car while one of the security guys jumps into the passenger seat. Interior restaurant in front of Beiruta, day. Colton talks to Rebecca at the table, impatient.
Blondie, we're running out of time. Where are the papers?
Rebecca hesitates, seeming indecisive.
What will become of Claire if Garrett kills you right here?
Rebecca stares at Colton's eyes. She knows he's right. She gives in reluctantly.
Documents are with the manager of Beirut. Ask for delivery to Sam.
You come with us. We'll get the money, and I'll get the papers.
Mark throws the money back to Colton.
Get the car, I'll take the documents.
Colton pulls Rebecca. Mark runs into the street. He crosses the road, ducking the moving cars and jumping into interior Beirut's restaurant continuous. Mark rushes into the restaurant across the street where the meeting was set, looking for the manager.
I'm getting a package to Sam.
Sam? Oh yeah. Sure. 1 minute.
The manager goes inside. Seconds move slow as the manager does not come back. Mark is anxious, his hand shivering. A red Aero Willys jumps on the sidewalk, running over some of the tables at the restaurant. Colonel Garrett jumps off the car with a 9mm pistol in his hand.
Fuck.
Mark runs into the manager's office, the manager still holding the package. Colonel Garrett shoots at Mark, missing the shots. The manager jumps to the ground, hiding behind the desk. Mark grabs the package with the IBAD papers and runs into the kitchen. Mark sprints by and drops all the pans, silverware plates, trays, and hot water. The cooks and staff scream in panic as Colonel Garrett enters the kitchen, shooting. Mark exits the kitchen, escaping into exterior street outside where there's a continuous. Mark gains the streets as Colton pulls over, driving a Chevrolet GT. Mark jumps in, Rebecca still at the back seat. Colton's car peels away as Garrett comes out of the kitchen, shooting at the vehicle. 2 shots go right through the rear windshield. Rebecca screams and ducks down. The Chevrolet GT vanishes as Garrett keeps on shooting. Interior, Chevrolet GT moving cars continuous. Colton shouts on the radio.
We got the package. Let's get out of here.
Copy that.
Mark is disoriented, his gun still shaking in his hands. He sees Colton driving the Jeep in Cuba with him and Laura. The prologue images.
Where are you taking us, pal?
Calm down, man. That's me, Colton. We're safe. Put it down.
Mark snaps back, hyperventilating. He puts down the gun. Mark pops some anxiolytic pills in, manages to regulate his breathing, and tries to calm down.
You're crazy. Let me out.
Relax, Blondie. He's okay now. Right, buddy?
Mark does not respond. Colton turns to Rebecca.
Let me drop you off somewhere safe.
Exterior JK Airport, day. Rebecca gets out of Colton's car. Colton hands her the bag of money. Mark watches, covering them.
Go to somewhere safe. Don't ever look back. Got it? Kiss Claire for me.
Rebecca nods. She means to leave, but halts for a moment.
Just got your eyes, you know.
Colton stands there as Rebecca vanishes inside the airport terminal, tears in his eyes. Interior Green's office, day. Thomas Green is on a map discussing a military plan with a Brazilian general. Colonel Garrett enters the office.
Could you excuse us?
Brazilian general nods and drives off the room.
Sir, there was a complication. Colton and Mark have stolen the papers. I've already got all of my people looking for them.
Green looks like he's going to explode with rage, but he doesn't. He sucks in all his anger.
They will come for us. We'll deal with them in the right time.
Interior Rio's bar, night. It's a crowded and loud bar with a big band playing on the stage. Mumbles, Powder, and Camilla are at a table. They drink and talk out loud, celebrating. Mark and Colton come in and join them.
Have we got it? Are these the real IBAD papers?
We got it, Cupcake. Papers are legit.
There are some numbered accounts that we couldn't crack so far, but most of it looks as it should.
Nice, bud. Should we contact Green, like, right now?
Relax. We still have to identify the rest of the accounts.
That's the end game. We should make this one count.
Sure. I got a fellow that could check these accounts. I'll ask around.
Colton moves Mark into a corner, gently. Just the two of them.
Are you okay, man?
Yeah, I'm alright.
You scared me today.
I'm fine. It was just, you know.
Colton studies Mark.
Sure. Great.
Montage. The whole team celebrates together. They shout, laugh, cheer, and party. Mark and Camilla dance to a sexy and tropical music. Colton, Mark, and Powder drink some shots of tequila, hitting the table at the end of each shot. Mark, Camilla, and Colton are on the stage. They sing some 60s rock song with the band, completely out of tune. End of montage. Mark and Camilla flirt and have a tender moment at the counter. Camilla gets some Tic Tacs in her purse. She smiles.
Do you want some?
It's not exactly what I want right now.
What do you want, Katina?
Camilla breaks eye contact. She looks at Mark's lips while playing with her hair, seducing him. Mark makes his move while Camilla teases him a bit. They kiss and have a romantic time. Interior Rio's bar later. The bar is practically empty now. Camilla sings a beautiful love song on the stage with a tired band, sounding superb. Mark sits at Colton's table while Colton drinks a strong liquor. The rest of the team have already left. Mark admires Camilla's singing, gorgeous voice. Camilla winks at him.
You know, when this is all done, I was thinking, maybe I could get her a visa.
Oh boy.
Colton glances at Mark, not believing in what he hears. Mark seems to be serious about it. Colton is half drunk.
It's the mission. The adrenaline pump. The mystery. You're thinking with your icky.
Are you talking about Camilla or about Rebecca?
Yeah, right. As you say, Bennett, truth is, mission flings never last. You know that?
I don't think that's a fling, pal.
Colton pauses, looking at the cup.
And we should talk.
Colton sips a drink.
I recruited Camilla to... She should keep you around, okay? She's just doing her job.
Colton goes on talking. Exterior Rio's bar exit later. Mark is out of the bar, infuriated. Camilla goes after him. She looks a bit high on the alcohol.
Hey, are you leaving? Come on, it's early.
Camilla's all fond, but Mark is completely cold. He stares at her.
What's wrong, baby?
What's wrong? I don't know. I guess... I don't even know what to call you now.
Whoa, what?
How should I call you? Camilla? Jennifer? Maria?
Camilla's not expecting as she pulls herself together.
I can explain that.
I know you can. You're a criminal and Colton threw you a deal. I get it.
Camilla pauses, concerned.
Okay, there was this plan, and I get a new passport, a new life, but
Mark is downhearted.
Your job was to take care of me so I complete this mission. When we're done, you'll evaporate. Did I get it right?
no, well, I don't know. It's all changed.
You know what? I kind of suspected that you were a con artist from the start, but Colton told me you're married.
Camilla looks at the ground.
Oh, I see. That. That's so Colton telling you this shit. Boys code, right?
Is it true?
It's a bit more complicated than that. What do you want me to say, Mark? He's in jail now.
Mark smirks, infuriated. He just can't believe it.
You are something. What about the story that you lost someone? Was that even real?
Camilla slaps Mark on the face.
You guys think you're some kind of knight in shining armor? You're not.
Camilla heads out, with Mark following her.
I thought it was sister, okay?
Mark didn't expect that.
Sorry.
She followed Guerra to Cuba to join the guerrillas and ended up dying in some swamp in Santa Clara. Her name was Camilla.
She dies and you pretend to be her? That doesn't make any sense.
Are you really accusing me of lying about who I am? Isn't that what you spies do, like, all the time?
That's different.
How? That's so... I'm such an idiot, you know? I really thought you'd understand it.
Okay, look.
Camilla moves away and ends up losing one of her high heels. She takes off her shoes, offended. Mark tries to grip her, but she pushes him away.
I know I made mistakes, right? I'm not dumb. But I thought this one would be different.
Camilla walks away looking for a cab. As Mark stands still, she is humiliated, crushed, and in tears. Exterior streets, moving car, day. Colton's Dodge Charger crosses the city. Signs and posters are spread all over the walls, asking for Django's resignation. Inside the car, Colton and Mark are in a grim silence as Mark drives.
Thousands of protesters are taking to the streets asking for Django's resignation. Some demonstrators are even asking for a military intervention.
Interior CIA safe house, moving car. The plan is explained while Mark and Colton are already on the move. Interior CIA safe house, living room, day. Mark explains the situation to Colton. Camilla mumbles and powder. There's tension between Mark, Camilla, and Colton as they barely look at each other.
Alright folks, the political situation is getting worse, so we've got to move fast. As soon as Django falls, Green will try to seize power and put a puppet general in his place. If we want to stop him, we'll have to make the trade now.
Bubbles protests.
Papers aren't ready.
You said yourself we should make this one count. There's a lot we haven't figured out yet.
We don't have the time.
Exterior streets, moving car, day. The Dodge Charger approaches the U.S. Embassy. Inside the vehicle, Colton changes stations. A 60s music comes in. Cut to CIA safe house.
We've set a meeting at the embassy. If we don't come back in 4 hours, you leak this story to the press.
Back to car. Colton's vehicle parks. Exterior, interior, U.S. Embassy in Brazil, day. Mark and Colton enter the embassy. They show their ID cards and hand their pistols to one of the Marines. Security guards frisk them up, searching for other guns. They are clear. Garrett observes them. Interior Green's office, day. Ambassador Thomas Green, Mark, and Colton sit around a table, negotiating.
I don't know how this got this far. We're on the same side.
Ambassador, you're provoking an international crisis. You lied to the president and you've tampered with Brazilian elections. We are not on the same side.
Son, you were in Cuba. You too, actually. You should know better than anyone else what's at stake.
I thought our job was to defend to democracy. You're planning to start a military dictatorship instead.
These people aren't ready for democracy.
It's not your call.
Green contains his rage.
I tried to reason with them. Didn't work. We tried to support some sober candidates to their Congress. Decent, responsible men. Guess what? We're still losing. We need a pro-American president here. Now, a strong man.
If we do that, if we launch a military operation just to place a patsy president in power, we're no better than the Soviets.
Green is weary. He stands up, trying to establish his point.
You're a naive boy, Officer Chambers. That's how the world works. This is a domino inside a huge line of dominoes. One falls, the next one will fall just after that. I can't let this domino fall.
Jesus, Thomas. You're a nut job. Just stop Brother Sam. People will get killed. You're dividing this country apart.
Green snorts, despising Colton's suggestion.
We should let the Brazilians deal with Django.
I won't suspend the operation. We've got to support our allies. Communism is the evil, and we must oppose it. That's our duty as Americans, as Christians, as civilized men.
Do you really think you can control those generals you take for friends? Do you think this will make you some kind of hero? It'll end in a bloodbath.
That's not what it's about. We should...
Green walks a bit and looks at his Shakespeare book collection with nice leather covers right on the shelf. He collects Hamlet.
Conscience does make cowards of us all. I knew the Kennedys for a long time. I saw little Bob and little John running around the house. John was a decent man, a great president. The Soviets killed him. They executed him the way you butcher a pig in front of his wife.
Green stares at Mark.
Jesus, they killed your wife. Be a man, be an American. I'll do whatever it takes to vanquish them from this earth, as God is my witness.
There's no Soviet threat here, Thomas. You're delusional.
Mark takes a moment, collects his thoughts, then speaks incisively.
Ambassador, we've got the IBAD papers. If you don't cancel Brother Sam, we'll expose them. The name of every politician you bribed, every illegal campaign donation.
Green is in silence, containing his anger.
We know what we've done in IBAD, right? No one wants to see that on the press.
Interior security camera, same time. Colonel Garrett observes the conversation through a security camera. It is all being recorded. Record is blinking.
Call it off. We forget the whole thing, and you may aim for that shiny little chair on the Senate.
Interior Green's office continuous. Green turns to the CCTV camera.
Garrett?
Colonel Garrett enters. 10 Marines storm into the room, rifles in their hands. They surround the whole office, waiting for an order.
Arrest these men for treason, for blackmailing a U.S. federal officer, and for exposing classified material.
Yes, sir.
Marines point their rifles to Mark and Colton. There's nothing they can do at this point. A sergeant formalizes the arrest.
On the orders of the U.S. Ambassador Thomas L. Green, you're now under criminal custody of the diplomatic mission and will...
The Marine sergeant keeps on spitting out the formal order of arrest as Mark shouts.
Green, if we don't get out of here in a couple of hours, the papers will be leaked to the press.
The ambassador exits the room, never looking back to them. The Marines put Mark and Colton in handcuffs.
Thomas, that's a bad move, man. Thomas! Thomas!
Interior CIA safe house, night. Powder stares at the clock on the wall.
They aren't coming back. You should release the papers to the press.
They're probably dead or arrested.
Camilla sighs in a nervous way.
Okay, guys, I'll do it.
Interior U.S. Embassy detention room, night. Mark and Colton are locked in the detention room.
We're screwed.
Colton seeks a way of getting out of the cell. Mark sits on the floor, his eyes lost.
You know, I've never thanked you for Cuba, for trying to rescue Laura.
Colton pauses, empathizing with Mark.
I'm sorry about her. It shouldn't have ended that way.
It is what it is, pal.
Colton scratches his nose, feeling guilty.
Look, Camilla's a mess, but she's a nice kid. Her heart is in the right place. I shouldn't...
Forget that. I'm the one to blame.
Colton gets a picture inside his wallet. That's him, Rebecca, and baby Claire. He examines the picture for a moment and places it back.
You know, don't be like me. If we get out, get the girl. Make some babies.
Mark seems distressed. His hand is shivering.
I don't think I can go on doing it anymore, Colton.
What are you talking about?
I thought I was ready. I'm not. Something is broken inside my head. I'm putting you all in danger.
I like to be in danger, man. I'm glad you came.
No more deaths, Colton. I'm out. For good. Trust me. It's for the best.
Colton looks around, selecting his words.
Do you know what paratroopers do when their things don't open up? They have to pull the reserve parachute.
No idea.
They go back and do another jump right after that. Because if you don't, this will eat you up from the inside, and you'll never jump again.
Mark considers it seeming to follow Colton's logic. The door opens. Colonel Garrett comes in with 2 security guards, a gun in his hands. Colonel Garrett throws some handcuffs to Mark and Colton.
Put it on. You taking a walk?
Look, knucklehead, if you want to kill us right here. I won't move an inch.
Colonel Garrett hits Colton on the jaw really hard.
We're doing business. This is the deal. Give me the papers, I'll let you guys go.
Thought Green wanted to court-martial us.
Green is stubborn. We know these papers can't see daylight.
Colton cleans the blood on his lips.
Afraid of prison, dumb prick?
Colonel Garrett snorts.
Aren't you? Green may have Washington friends, but we don't. Sure as hell we can't have IPAD in a court of law.
All right. Suppose we hand you the documents. What is stopping you from killing us?
If you end up dead, Green will know I'm behind it. If you escape, well,
Colonel Garrett glances at the CCTV camera.
security cameras are off. They can't be off forever.
Mark and Colton stare at each other. Interior residential place, Super Quadras, night. Camilla sits on a bench with an old-time friend, Max, 25, reporter, male, obviously gay. They are in a garden with residential buildings at their back.
I talked to my editor. Apparently Django's people are asking about these papers.
Camilla's cautious. She checks if there is someone observing them.
And?
We can't publish it. At least not now.
Dude,
We need to confirm all the facts before printing. There's a lot of important people involved.
carajo. It has to be on the headlines tomorrow, dickhead. Otherwise,
What have you done this time, girl?
I need to help a friend.
Max assumes an impression of disapproval.
One other thing. I asked my bank contact to check the secret accounts you couldn't identify. Apparently they're all linked to one guy. He grabbed a good chunk of the money, maybe 1/3.
Really? Who
An
is?
American name is
Max reviews his notes.
Thomas Green. Do you know him?
Camilla's shocked.
Are you sure?
Of course I'm sure so. Should my people work on this to check all the facts?
Camilla examines Max's notes briefly. Next, she seizes them.
Wait, don't do anything. I'll talk to you later.
Max is surprised as Camilla is leaving.
Camilla? Camilla!
Camilla stands up and walks, but appearing to be muddled. Interior CIA safe house, living room night. Sounds of steps up the corridor.
They're back.
The door slams right open. This is Garrett and some security guys. They have Mark and Colton as hostages in handcuffs. As soon as the door opens, Powder grabs a 12-gauge shotgun and is ready to fire. Colonel Garrett aims at Powder and mumbles with his 2 guns. Security guys hold Mark and Colton, guns at their heads. They're in a standoff situation.
Drop it.
A moment of tension as Powder still holds the shotgun. Mumbles is sweating.
I said, drop it.
Do as he says.
Powder puts his shotgun down, slowly. Colonel Garrett moves through the apartment, checking the other rooms. It's all clear. Security guys remain in the living room, keeping an eye on everyone.
Where are the documents? She took it. They're not here.
Garrett is about to shoot at Mark's head.
Who took the papers?
At this moment, Camilla storms through the door.
Me!
She has a .765 pistol and shoots multiple times. One bullet hits Garrett on the shoulder. Pop, pop, pop. The shooting begins. It all happens very fast, almost at the same time. Powder tries to grab the shotgun and Garrett shoots at him. Colton and Mark get into action, trying to overthrow the security guys that were clutching them. Colton rolls with one of the security guys, applying some jiu-jitsu moves. He uses the handcuffs to strangle the guy.
Sweet dreams, Cinderella.
The shooting moves into the apartment room by room. Garrett is barricaded inside a room, finding cover behind a sofa. Camilla shoots at him, protecting herself behind the wall, exchanging bullets. Camilla hurtles into the room and pulls the trigger. A dry click. At this point, she figures she's out of bullets with no cover.
Fuck!
Colonel Garrett aims clearly at her and is about to shoot as Camilla tries to dodge back into cover. At the precise second, Mark pops up and fires at Garrett. Bam! Deadly shot right in Colonel Garrett's forehead. It's all over. The gun is shaking in Mark's hand, the muzzle still smoking. Mumble screams from another room. Mark and Camilla run to check on him.
He's hurt. Copeland, do something.
Crowder's on the floor, bleeding and coughing blood.
Don't worry, Mumbles. It's nothing.
Camilla checks Crowder's wound. It's bad, but not that bad. She begins first aid. Mark takes another anxiolytic pill. Colton glances at Mark's medicine, worried. Mark's attention is on Crowder now.
How is he?
Hold on, Hanson. It's just a scratch. I can patch this up.
Colton opens his handcuffs using a key.
Hey, Nurse Barbie, we've got to run. We have to leave, like, right now.
Mark nods, helping Camilla to move Powder out. Interior new hideout day. The new hideout looks like an abandoned, tumble-down warehouse. Powder lies on a bed wearing some bandages while Mumbles watches over him. Camilla approaches Mark.
Mark, may I talk to you? It'll be quick.
Colton peeks at the couple, hopeful. Mark is silent. Exterior JK Monument later. Camilla and Mark are alone. They walk in front of JK Monument, a charming landmark with lots of green.
Yep, I was married when I was like 17.
You don't have to explain me anything.
I know.
Camilla takes her time.
That bastard could sell crosses to the devil.
Guess I know the type.
It wasn't much of a love story.
Camilla tries tidying her hair, withstanding the wind.
When my sis vanished, asshole promised to catch sight of her in Cuba. My mom trusted him, sold all her stuff.
Damn.
Exactly. Dickhead got her money, never moved an inch.
That's,
I framed him, dispatched him right into jail. Colton helped me on that.
see.
Since then, the fucker's been waiting for his chance to put a bullet in my head.
They stroll.
I owe you an apology for that day at the bar.
You were kind of right not to have faith on me.
It isn't true.
Camilla stares in Mark's eyes.
I really like you, Mark. For real.
Mark selects his words.
I was bitter that day.
You still miss her?
Of course. But it's time to move on.
Do you want to move on?
Mark holds Camilla in his arms and gazes inside her eyes. Camilla slowly puts her lips closer to Mark's face. They kiss romantically.
You know what? We could just run away. Screw them. Let's simply disappear. Live on a small island in Jamaica or Mexico.
Mark smiles.
I love that. But
No but? Forget the buts.
we can't let Green get away with it. Not now.
It takes a moment, but Camilla nods. Interior new hideout day. Camilla and Mark enter together in the hideout. Mumbles, Powder, and Colton are closely watching the news. All eyes are at Mark and Camilla as they enter the room.
What?
There's a three-ring circus out there. You should watch this.
Exterior, Praça da República, São Paulo, Streets Day. This is the traditional Praça da República, a plaza well known for holding massive protests. Thousands of people gather on the streets demanding Jango's resignation. Signs state, democracy for Brazil, no to communism. Brazil will not be a new Cuba. There's an ocean of protesters. Protests are peaceful, but the moods are heated. A row of young women unfurls a banner that states, March of the Family, for freedom with God. People shout, asking for democracy and new elections. The protest leader yells a furious speech on the stage.
Django is a dictator. We won't have a communist government here. Our flag will never be red.
Female news reporter does a live transmission.
We're here at Praça da República, where thousands of protesters are asking for President Jango's resignation.
Similar protests are seen in series of shots. Rio de Janeiro, news reporter number 2 shouts in the middle of the crowd.
Here at Sinolandia, the population is waving green and yellow flags. They're asking for the defense of the Constitution and the rule of law.
Campinas, a female protester is talking to a TV reporter live.
Campinas citizens are gathered here in defense of our country.
Santos, veteran combatants from the 1932 revolution, 50 to 60 years old, are proudly using their historical war uniforms. An old veteran speaks to the reporter.
I fought in 1932. I was ready to fight again. We need elections. We need it now.
The crowd cheers and applauds. Interior new hideout day. Powder, Colton, Camilla, and Mumbles gather around Mark to listen to the new plan. Powder presses some bandages on where he was shot. Other than that, he looks fine. Mark and Colton explain the situation.
Green won't stop Brother Sam. The moment Django resigns, Green will seize the opportunity to put one of his generals in power. The U.S. fleet is already rushing in.
The Brazilian army is probably just waiting for the support of the U.S. task force to make their move.
What about the upcoming elections?
Mark and Colton stare at each other.
They'll call it off. There won't be any elections anytime soon.
Powder seems distressed.
Why don't we send the documents to the State Department? We have proof that Green was pocketing CIA money. This could take him out of the picture, right?
At present, Colton and I are fugitives. We just murdered an army colonel. We're considered rogue agents now.
The jugheads have us already cut out of secure lines, bank accounts, credentials, the whole shebang.
Camilla feels frustrated.
We can't risk transmitting the papers outside a secure line. This could expose Colton's participation in the IBAD.
Fuck this. I don't care. We almost leaked it to the press anyway. Powder's right. Let the shit hit the fan.
Mark ponders for a moment.
I still have my EAP passwords.
Which are useless without a secure line.
Mark strolls around the room, thinking.
We can operate the secure lines from inside the embassy and try to contact someone in EAP. If we're lucky enough, my guys could deliver the documents directly to the Secretary of State.
You know how insane that sounds? You two just escaped from the damn embassy.
That's why they won't be waiting. We need to go back.
Camilla nods.
What's the plan, bud?
We'll do the Brazilian hustle.
Colton is surprised.
Brazilian hustle?
We'll have to make this one up as we go. Powder, Mumbles, I've got some ideas for you guys.
Exterior U.S. Embassy, front, day. Establishing the U.S. Embassy with its gates and Marines. Interior new hideout day. Mark explains the plan to Colton, Camilla, Powder, and Mumbles as the action happens.
Okay, folks, that's how we do it.
Exterior U.S. Embassy day. Camilla stops her car. A wisp of white smoke comes out of her motor as her car blocks the embassy's car exit. Two diplomatic vehicles try to get out of the premises. Now they are blocked in. One of the drivers pushes the horn. Camilla walks out of the vehicle in a breezy summer dress, appearing confused. Intercut U.S. Embassy new hideout. Mark explains the plan, which is already in motion.
Camilla will set up the first distraction.
Two Marines come close to Camilla.
Ma'am, you cannot park here.
I'm not parking. My car is broken down. Can you help me?
The Marines push Camilla's car, freeing the embassy's car exit. As soon as the exit is cleared, the Marines start to open the gates, which slide slowly. Mark continues to narrate the scheme.
When they clear Camilla's car, Powder will call the big one.
Powder and Mumbles watch the embassy from a distance. Powder pushes a switch on a remote control device. While the Marines are distracted with Camilla, a truck moves towards the car exit. Vroom! The truck is on fire, no driver, remote controlled. The vehicle speeds straight towards the cars that were waiting to come out. The drivers inside the embassy's cars jump out from their vehicles shouting, "Crash!" The truck collides with the embassy's vehicles, starting a large fire and blocking the gates. Dark smoke covers everything. Cut to Mark exposing the plan using a miniature car and a model of the embassy's entrance.
The truck will open the embassy's gates wide open. Then we move to phase 3.
The flaming truck explodes in front of the U.S. Embassy. Kaboom! It is mostly pyrotechnics. Now, because of the truck's debris, they can't fasten the gates. The whole place is chaos. Marines shout orders, disoriented. Meantime, Camilla opens her car's trunk, her actions hidden by the smoke. A whole platoon of Marines runs into the garden, holding a perimeter of defense. A lot of mist and agitation. No one can see anything. Back in the hideout, Mark reveals the final steps.
With all the smoke and confusion, we get in.
End of intercutting. Mark and Colton jump out from Camilla's car trunk, wearing Marine uniforms. Camilla holds Mark as they kiss in a passionate way.
Good luck.
Please, be safe.
Exterior, U.S. Embassy in Brazil's side door day. Marines run through the side door of the embassy with their helmets and rifles, reporting to the front entrance. An alarm blares. Two Marines run the wrong direction. It's Colton and Mark in disguise. They move into Interior U.S. Embassy in Brazil's side door continuous. Mark and Colton storm into the embassy, same time a group of soldiers passes right through them, moving out. Mark and Colton get to the Interior Embassy's armory door continuous. The couple reach the point where a Marine corporal is handing out guns to the first response team. It's solely Mark, Colton, and the Marine corporal now.
The explosion's at the front. Move your asses to the... Hey, who the hell are you?
Colton knocks down the Marine corporal.
Let's move.
Interior, the embassy's armory, inside continuous. Alarm is still blasting. Mark and Colton get into the armory room. They pick rifles, pistols, ammunition, explosives, and smoke grenades. Mark looks at Colton in a Marine uniform. He hears the alarm and appears to be disturbed by its deafening sound. Woo, 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 woo. It's not Colton anymore. What Mark sees is the Marines at the U.S. Embassy in Cuba, as in the prologue images. He freezes, panic in his eyes.
Hey, Dream Fairy,
Mark snaps back.
I'm jumping in, like paratroopers. Are you with me?
Mark nods, grabbing his anxiolytic medicine pot. Mark stares at the container for a moment and places it back, taking no pills this occasion. For the first time, we can see the fire in Mark's eyes.
Let's do it, pal.
Interior U.S. Embassy, Administrative Office, continuous. A smoke grenade flies into a big office room and explodes. Whoosh. The room is full of administrative staff. Men and women run and scream. Mark and Colton storm into the room, tactical mode. A security guard tries to halt them and is promptly knocked out by Mark. Interior Green's office, continuous. Mark and Colton invade Green's office, guns in their hands. Green is at his desk.
What do you think you're doing?
You come with us.
Interior U.S. Embassy in Brazil, communications room, day. The door of the communications room states, classified area, do not enter. Mark opens the doors roughly. There are 2 people in the room, which has all sorts of communication equipment, electronics and classified material.
Hey, dingbats, nobody moves. Hands where I can see them, okay?
Mark and Colton charge into the place, securing the area and looking for any opposition. The 2 operators inside the room put their hands up, surrendering. Mark grabs Green, who has his hands tied. Meantime, Colton speaks to one of the operators, William, a communications officer, 30s, calm guy.
Lock the door.
William is frozen. Suddenly, he recognizes Colton.
Agent Colton?
Be a good boy, William. Nobody gets hurt. I won't shoot a U.S. ambassador, but nobody cares about a communications officer.
Mark points his gun at William.
Lock it up, pal.
William seems confused. Colton barks.
Lock it up, dumbass. Now!
William bolts the door, clinching the 3 layers of metal bars and planks that seal this room. Looks like a bank safe.
Sit.
Mark throws Green on a chair.
You murdered Garrett, and you're kidnapping a U.S. ambassador. You 2 will burn on the electric chair for that.
Mark and Colton ignore Green. Mark approaches William.
Put the State Department on the hotline. Reach someone at EAP.
William sets the phone call.
Office of Analysis for East Asia and the Pacific.
Who is this? Officer Foley?
Phone call, intercut U.S. Embassy and EAP State Department.
Negative. This is Officer White.
Mark does not believe it, showing up an oh god face.
Officer Chambers here. They let you graduate, Wyatt?
Me and Officer Toots are in the EAP now, sir.
Tuts is at Wyatt's side, listening to the conversation.
Okay, that's important. I'll wire you some documents by the Intel channel. You must show them to Secretary Rusk right away. Do you understand?
Secretary who?
The damn Secretary of State, Wyatt. Bring it to him ASAP.
Okay, we'll do it.
End of intercutting. Mark hands some documents to William.
Wired by secure line. Classified as top secret, source Alpha 1.
William nods.
Alpha 1 means the information is from a trustful source and the most likely true. Can't do that. You'd need an intelligence and analyst password to verify the kind of message.
Colton stares at Mark. Mark nears William with an intimidating look.
I'm an intelligence officer from State Department. Do you have a problem with my assessment, pal?
Colton smiles. Old Mark is back. Mark hands a paper to William.
This is today's passwords for EAP reports. You should work.
William reluctantly does as he's told. Exterior coast of Brazil, day. The Naval Task Force is sailing. The USS Forrestal stands out inside the formation. Interior USS Forrestal, Center of Operations, continuous. A map of the COC, Center of Operations and Combat, shows that the Naval Task Force is quite close to Brazil's coastline. The most senior officers are gathered around Admiral Clark.
Gentlemen, the operation will start ahead of schedule. We're expecting to have forces on the ground at 1800.
Captain Rodriguez, 40 Latino, is the first mate of the ship.
Sir, it is not enough time for all of the planning and logistics.
These are our orders, Captain. If you don't like them, state that on your report afterwards.
Interior U.S. Embassy in Brazil, communications room, day. Mark sits in front of Green, who's tied to a chair.
Cancel the operation, Green.
Are you out of your mind?
We've got documents that prove you are diverting money from IBAD into your personal accounts. You're done.
That was Green snorts.
Do you think this is about money? Boy, you're more stupid than I thought. Do you believe for a second That I pulled all this operation off by myself? I did what I had to do to fight this dirty war.
Believe in what you want. There's the right, there's wrong, and you cross that line.
Do you guys have any idea of what you're doing here? You're putting the whole mission at risk. Do you want the Reds to win?
We should be here to ensure fair elections, not to fraud them.
You don't let the children choose the kindergarten teacher.
That's a country we're talking about, not a bunch of kids.
Do you comprehend what war is? You don't show weakness in the face of the enemy. They call it a Cold War, but son, it's still a war.
You're the one transforming this crisis into a war. All they're asking for is free elections. You plan to cancel them.
Do you know what will happen if just watch, doing nothing? Chaos, utter chaos. We need to act. We need people we can trust, sitting in that presidential chair. We've got a commitment to the free world. We must honor it.
This isn't honor. I don't think you understand what honor really is.
Violent knocking at the door. A Marine captain shouts from outside.
Agent Colton, unlock this door. Open this door right now.
Okay, fellas, we've got some grenades here. You try to invade this room, I swear to God I'll blow everything up, including me, the ambassador, and the asses of whoever come in.
The Marine captain knocks again, repeatedly.
You knock that damn door one more time, Tinkerbell, and I'll personally grab your balls and nail them into your mouth when this is over.
The knocking stops. Interior State Department hallway, day. Wyatt, Tuts, and Foley have a bunch of documents in their hands, running through the corridors. Interior State Department, Rusk's office, continuous. Wyatt, Tuts, and Foley get to Secretary number 1 at the office's entrance. Wyatt recovers his air as he talks.
We need to see Secretary Rusk.
Do you have an appointment?
Foley intervenes.
We've run intelligence and research. It's a crisis.
Secretary number 1 examines Foley. This looks serious.
Secretary Rusk is in here. He's at the Pentagon.
Interior, U.S. Embassy in Brazil, communication room, day. Mark looks at the clock. Time is passing.
Get me in touch with USS Forrestal.
I don't think this is a good idea.
Colton grabs his rifle in a menacing way.
Now, you think very carefully about your next words, numbnut.
William sets the radio on.
Their call sign is Yankee 3.
Mark seizes the radio phone.
Yankee 3, this is Alpha Zulu. I need to speak with a senior officer on deck. Over.
Alpha Zulu, identify yourself, over.
This is Officer Chambers from U.S. State Department. I'm talking on behalf of Ambassador Green, over.
The hell you are!
Colton pushes some paper into Green's mouth.
Alpha Zulu, hold.
Long silence until answer comes. Intercut Embassy, USS Forrestal.
This is Admiral Clark speaking, over.
Sir, I need you to hold the operation.
Why is that?
We had some political developments on the ground. Operation could make things worse.
Long silence.
All right, Officer Chambers. Give us the code word and we'll abort mission, over.
Mark turns to William.
What's the code word?
I don't know.
Colton frees Green's mouth.
Thomas, what's the freaking code word?
Green spits at Colton's face. Colton hits Green really hard, grabbing him by the neck.
I won't ask again, Pudwhack.
Green laughs.
Do you think you can threaten me, Agent Colton? Go on, threaten me, torture me, kill me.
Mark goes back on the radio.
Admiral Clark, the embassy was invaded. We don't have the code word right now, but if you please...
When you have the code word, you give us a call, officer. Over and out.
Interior Pentagon, same time. Wyatt, Foley, and Tuts move hastily into the Pentagon. Security guards stop them.
Sir, you'll need to remove your weapons and... I won't remove my weapons. We must see Secretary Rusk now. Or just do it right.
Interior USS Forrestal, Center of Operations, same time. COC is hectic as operations are on the move. Admiral Clark sits on his chair, considering the whole scenario. Captain Rodriguez approaches him.
Sir, I know this isn't the protocol, but the operation has been outside the protocol from the start. We should wait until we clarify the whole situation.
Long pause as the Admiral observes his men in the COC.
Thank you for your honest insight, Captain. It's duly noted, but orders are orders.
Interior Pentagon, meeting room hallway, same time. Wyatt, Tuts, and Foley sprint through the corridors. They get to the meeting room but are stopped at the door by an advisor.
We need to talk to Secretary Rusk.
Secretary Rusk is in the middle of the meeting. We'll just have to wait.
You don't understand. We've got an urgent message that needs to be delivered to him. And
Officer Tuts does not wait. She passes through the advisor and jumps into the meeting.
Hey!
Interior Pentagon, meeting room, continuous. There is a long table full of Washington authorities. Secretary Rusk leads the conference. Tuts screams hysterical.
Listen to me, you morons. Ambassador Thomas Green is lying to the president and is conspiring to throw a military coup. If you don't act right now, he'll start a fucking civil war.
A meeting stops. All eyes are on Tuts as she calms down.
Thank you, sir.
Tuts places the papers on the meeting table. Interior, U.S. Embassy in Brazil, communications room day. Sounds of letters being typed as a telex comes in. William grabs it and reads it. He seems surprised.
It's from the State Department.
All eyes are on William.
Until further inquiry, Ambassador Thomas Green is relieved from his post effective immediately. Replacement will be sent in the morning. All diplomatic actions must hold until then.
Mark faces Green.
It's over, Green.
You're a disgrace to your country.
Give us the code word.
I'll give you nothing.
They said we must stop all operations.
They said to hold diplomatic actions. This is hardly the same.
Mark puts a pistol on Green's forehead. Mark slowly pulls the gun's hammer, ready to shoot. Green narrows his eyes, prepared to die.
Mark! Mark!
William interrupts.
Red Fox. The code word is Red Fox.
Mark rushes to the radio. Green is devastated, but somewhat relieved to be alive.
Admiral Clark, this is Officer Chambers. Red Fox. I repeat, Red Fox. Over.
Exterior, house in the countryside, day. A SEAL team hides in the woods, observing a vast house. President Django is surrounded by security men. He reads the newspaper inside the premises. A sniper examines his gun sight. He has a clear shot of Django right through the window. Interior USS Forrestal, center of operations, same time. Radio operator number 1 reports to Admiral Clark.
Sir, SEAL team is on the ground at Point Kilo. They've located one of the A-list targets. Sniper team is asking for a green light.
Admiral Clark freezes. He analyzes the situation.
Sir, do we send a green light? Sir! Sir!
On a different radio.
Admiral Clark, this is Officer Chambers. Red Fox. I repeat, Red Fox. Over.
Understood, Officer Chambers. Over now. Abort that. Abort. Call him back now.
There's some relief in the room. The Admiral keeps his post. Radio operators get busy sending messages to all the ships. Officers storm out issuing new orders. Interior U.S. Embassy in Brazil, communications room day. William opens the door. A platoon of Marines invades the room while Mark and Colton keep their hands up. The soldiers put Mark and Colton on their knees. Camilla, Powder, and Mumbles are already in handcuffs. A Marine unties Ambassador Green. William shows the telegram to the Marine captain. He reads it in shock.
Well, that's...
The Marine that was untying the ambassador stops and looks at the Marine captain, waiting for his orders. Exterior, Rio de Janeiro, a highway day. A TV reporter, female, late 20s, reports live. At her back, a long military convoy passes by. Military jeeps, open trucks, and soldiers in green uniforms.
3 o'clock this morning, troops led by General Olimpio Murao seized control of Rio de Janeiro, starting what it seems to be a military intervention to depose President Django.
Interior Situation Room, EAP, Washington, D.C., day. The EAP's administrative staff is gathered inside the sit room. They're perplexed, watching the news, which are live from Brazil.
The president's location is still unknown, but armed forces authorities have confirmed that they've got orders to arrest him. With the president in hiding, Congress will call a special session today to decide the fate of the presidency.
Mark gets into the room, looking sharp. All eyes are on him as the staffers try to figure out what's going on. Mark glances at the TV, seeming disappointed. As he sees the military vehicles crossing through the screen, he feels deep inside he has failed. Foley meets Mark at the hallway.
Sir, Director Hughes is waiting for you.
Mark nods, stepping right after Foley. Interior Director Hughes' office day.
Surprise!
It's a party. Camilla, Powder, Mumbles, Tuts, Wyatt, Douglas, Valeria, and a bunch of staff are inside the room cheering and applauding. Director Hughes, 50, the Director of Intelligence of U.S. State Department, takes a step forward. He's the most senior officer in the room.
Here it is. The new Director of Intelligence for Latin America. Congratulations, son.
More cheers and supportive yells. Mark is caught off guard.
Wow, that's...
Camilla comes close to Mark and hugs him.
I'm proud of what we've done, Gattino. We did the right thing. Don't let anyone tell you otherwise.
Thanks, babe. But...
No buts. Forget the buts.
Mark and Camilla kiss. The rest of the guests come and congratulate Mark. Hands shaken, pats on the back. Mark doesn't feel a celebration is in order, but he tries to be polite the best way he can. Cake and snacks are served. Hughes gets closer to Mark, just the two of them, chatting.
Great job, Mark. Impressive stunt. We may have dodged a bullet over there.
Thanks, sir.
People here in the State Department just can't believe all the crap Green was planning. The president is really relieved that you guys stopped him.
Mark doesn't seem to believe that, but plays along.
What happened to Green?
Well, we'll deal with him at the right time. At the moment, we have to contain these rumors and clean up all this mess.
In Brazil?
Oh, we're already discussing the name of an interim president, Congressman Ranieri Mazzilli.
Yeah, but what about elections?
Oh, don't worry. We'll press for elections in the proper moment, of course, when things calm down.
Hugh's speech sounds a bit phony. Mark stares at him suspicious.
We believe it could be held in a couple of months, 6 months tops.
Hughes grabs a large chunk of cake. He eats and smiles. Colton enters the room, late.
Director Chambers. This surely sounds good, huh?
Thanks. Guess I'm back on the paratrooper jumping thing.
Good to hear.
Mark ponders for a moment. Next, he opens up with Colton, making sure no one can hear them.
We failed. They will just start a dictatorship in Brazil. There won't be any elections.
We took down Green. That means one less bad guy. It isn't a failing. You win a war one battle at a time. Game is still on.
Mark nods, appreciating those words.
Look, Director, there's something I need to show you. Wyatt?
Wyatt nears Colton with a briefcase in his hands.
There seems to be a situation in Chile.
Chile?
What do you know about Salvador Allende?
Wyatt hands Mark a dossier. On the cover, it's written, Operation Condor, top secret. Fade to black. Black screen. Over a black screen, together with some historical photographs, newspaper covers, official documents, and final credits, it's shown that. Super. Brother Sam was the actual code name given to Kennedy's plan to prevent Brazil from becoming a new Cuba. Super. A U.S. naval task force really departed from Aruba to support the Brazilian coup. This force should have reached Rio on April 10, 1964, but local military seized power ahead of scheduling. Super. The IBAD, Brazilian Institute for Democratic Action, was used to produce and finance anti-communist material. IBAD was dissolved by Brazilian justice in 1963 under charges of illegal campaign funding. Super. After the military coup, the interim civilian president, Ranieri Mazzilli, only stayed in power for 13 days. Mazzilli handed the presidency of Brazil to Army Marshal Castelo Branco. Super. Castelo Branco started a military dictatorship that would last for over 2 decades. Super. The next free and direct elections for president in Brazil would take place over 25 years later, in 1889.